Trying to score from the plug today, I sure could use a shot. Xannies are helping, but I need more. Guess I'll smoke some pot. I'm about to go insane. Sometimes I need to go where everybody does cocaine. And we always find a vein. I wanna fix and do some blow. The troubles will go away. I wanna be where everybody does cocaine. You shoot your dope, I'll smoke some crack. Junkies are all the same. I wanna be where everybody does cocaine.
Time for Dopey.
And I'm gonna sing a song for you.
Dave Chris gonna show you a thing or two.
You'll have some fun now with me and all the gang, learning from each other while we do our thing. Na, 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 gonna have a good time. Hey, hey. Na, 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 gonna have a good time.
Dave and Chris coming at you with music and fun. And if you're not careful, you might learn something before it's done.
Hey, hey, hey!
This episode of Dopey is brought to you by our very good friends at Oro Recovery. They're located in sunny Southern California. They're founded by Bob Forrest and his friends Evan, Jared, and Bob. Their mission is to create a treatment center that is based upon connection and compassion and not based upon control. They have decades and decades and decades and decades of experience in treating co-occurring mental health disorders, including severe mental illness. They make sure that your detox is as comfortable as possible, which is very important when you're kicking anything but heroin, benzos, alcohol, weed, kratom, whatever you're kicking. You want a safe and comfortable kick. They have amenities you wouldn't believe. Fucking sound bath meditation, equine therapy, surfing, and of course, the potentially spiritually transformative sweat lodge. No one can say no to that. They are rated incredibly highly by experts, but more importantly, by addicts that I've known that have been there all can't stop raving about how well they were treated and how good the program at Oro is. So if you're fucked and you're willing to go to sunny Southern California to get some help, I have to suggest going to Oro. This episode of Dopey is also brought to you by our very good friends at Sober Buddy. What is Sober Buddy? Sober Buddy is an app, but it is so much more. It is a community. It is a resource if you are interested in getting sober or if you are sober. It is over 10 Zooms a week with experts and addicts and alcoholics who are all in recovery. I do a Zoom for them every Wednesday. There is a free trial. Go to yoursoberbuddy.com, sign up. Sober Buddy has tools. You can get it at the App Store or the Google Play Store or at yoursoberbuddy.com. If you are looking for a community in recovery, I can't suggest Sober Buddy enough. If you are looking for an app to support your sobriety journey, I concur again. I cannot suggest Sober Buddy enough. Again, it's at yoursoberbuddy.com or at the App Store or the Google Play Store. Go sign up. All right, we need to talk about alcohol recovery in the workplace. And whenever we talk about alcohol recovery in the workplace, you should know we're talking about our incredible sponsor, SoberLink. This episode of Dopey is also brought to you by our good friends at SoberLink. Talking about sobriety and proving it to your employer can be so difficult. Our friends at SoberLink want to help. If you need a reliable way to present documented proof of sobriety to a boss or a loved one, SoberLink can help. SoberLink is a high-tech portable breathalyzer system that uses facial recognition technology to verify identity. They have unique sensors to ensure that no other air sources are being used, and they send results directly to your specified contact. So there is no questioning whether or not you took the test and whether or not you altered the reporting. This is why SoberLink's remote alcohol monitoring system is considered the gold standard. Being in recovery from alcohol does not define the future of your career. Let SoberLink help. Learn more about SoberLink and get an exclusive $50 off promo code by visiting www.soberlink.com/dopey. Before we get into the show, I want to remind you that Dopey gear is available at dopeypodcast.com. Sign up for Patreon. There is a great Grateful Dead apparel company called Always a Hoot. They send me clothes. I want to talk about them. Great Grateful Dead clothes. Go to alwaysahoot.com. Enough of the fucking ads. Here's the fucking show. Hello and welcome to Dopey, the podcast on drugs, addiction, and dumb shit. My name is Dave, and we have a very special show today. Fucking legendary MC, musician, New Yorker, alcoholic in recovery, Daryl DMC McDaniels came to my dad's house, which blew me away. It was like crazy. For those of you who don't know, Daryl DMC McDaniels is 1/3 of the seminal multi-platinum selling rap group Run DMC, with hits like It's Tricky, My Adidas, You Be Illin', Walk This Way, Christmas in Hollis. But we get into Run DMC a lot, obviously, later in the show. And I want to catch you up on some dopey stuff that's happening. The first thing I want to say, and it's not necessarily dopey, is I finally started watching a new TV show. The TV show is called The Last of Us. And it's on HBO. And it is so fucking good. The third episode is like the greatest episode I've ever seen of anything. Maybe that's conjecture, but maybe just stuff has been so bad. Or maybe it's because I was just watching Oz for too long that it looks so great next to the dreck that is the last season of Oz. But The Last of Us is this show about kind of like it's another post-zombie apocalypse show, but the apocalypse is brought on by fungus. And I don't want to ruin the show or anything, but they start off by talking about how mushrooms are so powerful they can hijack your brain. In The Last of Us, they basically hijack humanity and turn people into these feral zombies eating each other and stuff. But so like it's another one of these shows where there's, civilization is destroyed, trying to protect whatever humans are left, and the free humans are trying to save the world and be connected, and the ones that get to live are so lucky that they didn't get bitten by a mushroom zombie, and they didn't get bombed by the government. And it just reminded me of recovery in this weird way, where I don't know, I feel so lucky to be alive. I feel so lucky to be connected to you guys. I feel so lucky to be connected with other people in recovery. And when we stay connected, we stay free. And I have to say, if you can watch this show, The Last of Us, watch it. Let me know if you think I'm bugging out. Like, am I not? Is my finger off the pulse of what's great? Because I think it's pretty great. So that's my big recommendation. I've been hearing from a lot of people. I just got a note on Instagram that kind of fucked me up. It said, "Hey Dave, a few days ago, I was driving around shooting coke, looking in the rear view while Chris talked about doing the exact same thing. What a trip. Anyways, I'm in detox, about to head to my first rehab. I'm scared to continue the show past Chris's death, but the show must go on. Take care and keep what you're doing. Hope I can stay sober this time." Listen, man, you can do it. It just takes work. And that's Garrett. So everybody throw some fucking good vibes at Garrett out there. It's just, you know, it's a decision, and then it's a decision you need to keep making over and over and over and over again. I got this voicemail about the last episode with Chloe LeBranch, so I want to play that. Hold on.
Hey, Dave. My name is Christina, and I've been wanting to send you a voicemail forever, but I have anxiety and ADHD, and I can never get around to it. But this morning, I was just listening to the episode you put out with Fentanyl J and Chloe LeBranch, and I just paused in the middle of listening because I had to send this. First of all, Chloe LeBranch, I can relate to everything she's talking about with her recent relapse. I had a similar relapse in 2019, that also had me suicidal, and then I also ended up going into rehab. And yeah, I love it when you have relatable ass women on your show. Not even women, just relatable ass people. It's really nice. And I discovered Dopey last year after a pretty big life change. And I'm also in recovery for my bulimia, had bulimia for 15 years. I'm just a depressed person, been depressed as long as I can remember. And my addiction, I don't see it as an identity. I see it as like a symptom of my depression. So before I was an addict, I self-harmed and I was bulimic. And then the only reason I had a break from those things is because society frowns on those things, but drinking is fun. And so I've always been sick, but it hasn't always been that way on the outside. And it's pretty lonely when you're functional on the outside and no one knows how fucking miserable you are all the time. And I actually, it's funny, I started a mental health podcast to talk about this shit back in 2018, and I didn't even listen to Dopey back then. Like I said, I discovered it last year, but I started my podcast just a few months after Chris died, and it's so wild to think about like the Dopey Nation existing like in the background when I didn't even know about it, and you know, only discovering it now. I have a lot of catching up to do, but I just wanted to say I love all the old episodes with Chris. I've listened to some of them multiple times. You know, still catching up, but the newest episode, really loving it. One final note, when you and Jay were reading the email from ODJ, and you were just like, I'm so glad to be sober, or something like that. It made me laugh out loud because honestly, sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I miss the excitement of it all. But that's not sustainable. And my life is pretty boring now in recovery, and I'm not totally sober. More on that maybe in the future. But yeah, I'm so fucking happy to be in recovery, and love you, Dave. Love the Dopey Nation. I'm going to end this now. Also, my podcast is called Pickles and Vodka. I feel like I have to say that. Bye.
So thank you, Christina, and check out Pickles and Vodka if you're looking for a mental health podcast. And yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't miss it because it isn't sustainable. It's like there is no one getting high. It's just something else I have to fucking get out of again, and I don't want to have to get out of anything again. You know, I don't know. My life is good. I am incredibly excited that my life is good, that I'm enjoying it. I know it bums some of you out that my life is good, but I know that your life is good. So like, if your life is good, great. If your life could be better, my life could be better. There are things to do. And this is not like a warm up to an ad, but it could be. Maybe if you want your life to be better, sign up for Dopey Patreon. It's incredible. I just put up Fentanyl J outtakes just now. We did a special new Patreon with Erin Carr where she gets very juicy in that episode. But sign up for Patreon. We're doing our Patreon Zoom this weekend. If you want to support the show, it's the best way to support the show. And there's going to be more and more and more content. That's my little ad for Patreon. Oh yeah, you can check out Patreon at www.patreon.com/dopeypodcast. Also, check out Recovery in the Middle Ages podcast. If you're interested in how middle-aged suburban men handle recovery, it's a deep dive into all things about recovery, be it 12-step, alt recovery, They read different books about recovery. They talk, they hang out. It's great. Check it out where your podcasts are consumed. Recovery in the Middle Ages or middleagesrecovery.com. We're about to get to Daryl DMC McDaniels. And before we do, I just want to tell how I met him. And I bet a lot of you guys know. When I was at the Park City Song Summit in Park City, Utah, I got to meet one of my heroes, Daryl DMC McDaniels. So I want to shout out the Park City Song Summit. I want to shout out all the people that worked on it. Ben Anderson. And I want to give thanks to Eric Blamoville and great thanks to Keith Gard, who's been on the show also. All of those people made it possible to have DMC on the show right now. And something else I came across in my travels at the Park City Song Summit was this incredible organization called The Phoenix. They are a new sponsor of the show. The Phoenix is a free nonprofit foundation. They are creating a free movement that uses the power of community and belonging to change how society looks at addiction and recovery. A free, sober, active community that uses group activities and human connection to help people who are dealing with addiction. I have met a bunch of people from the Phoenix. They are super positive and fun, and we are going to be doing events with them. They set up physical fitness challenges, CrossFit, music stuff is happening. Check them out at thephoenix.org/find-a-class. Check them out also at thephoenix.org/movement. Join the movement at thephoenix.org/movement. It's really exciting partnership. We're going to be doing some music with them in the spring. I'm actually going to be going to some CrossFit activities from the Phoenix. It is a free nonprofit organization that helps addicts and alcoholics enjoy their life. So check them out at thephoenix.org. And now, without any further ado, the King at Rock, there is none higher. The Sucker MCs, I'll call him Sire, Daryl DMC McDaniels. Here we go. I can't tell you what this is for me. I have Daryl DMC McDaniels in the place. Welcome. I used to be a kid and watch you on MTV in my room.
That's crazy. It's
in
crazy.
Here.
I love being in here, though.
Tell me why.
This is the coolest thing ever because it reminds me of my childhood.
It's that classic New York City middle class thing.
Exactly. Yep.
And whether you're black and from Queens or Jewish and from Manhattan, it's very similar.
It's all very similar. Just ask the Beastie Boys. They'll tell you.
Right. Yeah. And Daryl just pointed to my dad's phone and said,
I have that exact phone.
Well, I have to
so
thank you.
So there's a lot of familiarity.
You feel at home.
Yes, exactly. Yep, 100%.
Well, you look at home.
You know what? They need to do more of this.
We should have videotaped it.
Because, yeah, we should have videotaped it.
That's my fault. Yes.
Next time I come on,
you'll bring a crew.
Videotape.
Yes.
This is real. And I think the perception of celebrity in Hollywood, we don't need studios. No, bring the people that, whatever, the artist, the actor, the musician, the writer, whatever it is that's making you known to people. They should do interviews like this.
Right. It's very cool. It's very homespun.
Cool, right? It's cool.
It's real.
You just made me. I might just make a whole song cursing out Hollywood now.
Nice.
How fake it is.
Or maybe we should just do a podcast here where you're here all the time and we have people come and you're like, come to Dave's house. Instead of Run's house, it's Dave's house.
And D's there all the time.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Dave's dad's house.
Yes. But this is it just feels good. So thank you for having me.
No, dude, thank you. I want to go back in time and move forward, which I'm sure. Are you tired of talking about your life and career?
No, never.
Never?
Because something new always comes out.
All right. I read 10 Ways Not to Commit Suicide, which is a beautiful book. I cannot recommend it enough. I saw you perform in Park City, Utah, which blew my mind.
That was fun.
Because, I'm sure, you sold hundreds of millions of records, or 30 million records, I think the stat was. But I can say hundreds of millions with that.
Right.
But I grew up in Manhattan, and you and Jam Master Jay and Run penetrated my psyche here. So like I can't even tell you, like it means a lot to me. I don't usually
This
get
is crazy,
flabbergasted
right?
because like your voice, Run's voice, the music, the lyrics. I remember being
You
12
lived it. You experienced
and
it.
memorizing You Be Illin'. You know what I mean? Like it's just I play It's Tricky. I played It's Tricky for my 10-year-old.
That's crazy.
And she lived for it because it's so solid. So I'm just
Right.
want to thank you for the music
That's
first.
crazy.
All right, now let's go back in time. First time you get high.
First time I get high, I remember the day. It was 1976. I was in the bicentennial. Because I remember, the big thing was, did you get one? Did you get one? Because the government put out the bicentennial quarters.
Nice. Did you get one?
Yeah, I got one.
Do you still have it?
Nope.
Oh, well. I wonder what it's worth.
But it was huge because I got one. I got one, and that was the biggest thing. But so I was 11. Dexter Miller was the new cool kid that moved on the block. He had every color Pro-Ked 69ers. Remember the Pro-Ked 60? He had this was around the time when the dungarees with the leather,
Wow.
different color leather brown design. This was that time. So Dexter Miller.
I just like that you say dungarees.
Dungarees, yeah. He had the dungarees. Dexter Miller, he had the AFX race car track in his basement with the houses. He had the black light posters, the felt posters you would get from all the record shops and the head shops. So Dexter Miller was older than me and Nathan. I was 11. Nathan had to be 8. Dexter Miller, all the kids looked up to him because he was just cool.
He had it going on.
He had the haircut. He had waves. He was a big wrestling fan, too. So Dexter had everything. And he lived on a corner. So one day he invites me and Nathan. And we're younger than him. So we're the only two on the block that he says, come on over. So we go over in his house. He takes us up in his room. And he turns out all the light. He used to go into the schools and steal the exit signs. Because the exit signs wasn't electronic. They was the fluorescent plastic sticky paper.
Oh, so they just glowed in his
glowed.
stoner basement
So
paradise.
he took them, he stole them from the school,
Yeah.
and he cut them up into little stars all over his room. So he took us in his room, and he said, we're going to smoke some reefer.
Okay.
It wasn't weed, it wasn't, we're going to smoke some reefer. So I remember he took out a joint. It was already rolled. It was me and Nathan sitting there. And he said, wait. And I remember he turned
Hold on,
out
Nathan
the
was
lights.
8?
Nathan was 8.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Me and Nathan was best friends. We did everything together. So he said, wait. He turns out the light, and the whole room looked like space. And then he turns on the black lights. So there was a famous poster. You've probably seen it all up where you go. It was a poster of the giant, the green giant getting high.
Okay.
He said, I get high with a little help from my friends.
Okay.
The black light. You know, they had the Afro posters. And remember the black light felt poster?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm with
Exactly.
you.
Yeah. And everybody out there, D, we know this. Very nostalgic. So he pulls out the joint and he lights it. He takes a pull. And then when he gives this to us, we don't inhale. And he says, no, you got to inhale it. So I remember I took a hit of the joint and it went into my lungs and it burnt my lungs. And he was like, hold it in. I held it in. I blew it out. And then the whole world just looked really, really different.
You have an incredible memory, by the way. I think you do.
Everybody says that.
Incredible. You're just
Brother,
right
look
there.
over, said, I remember every feeling and emotion.
That's a real
probably
talent,
why.
though. Because you think the emotion
It's
that
the
that
emotion.
sucks you in? So what was the emotion?
Yeah,
in that?
the emotion was, as you're taking this joint, you think it to yourself, this is wrong. You could get in trouble. But then, I spoke about this to the kids yesterday. I wanted to get high so I could be accepted. Because in my community, drugs was a social norm. So it was almost like me and Nate, and we wanted to be cool like Dexter and my brother Alfred, and all the over kids, Anthony and Eugene, and Bernard, I know all and Michael, and who else was Kev on my block. So me, I'm doing this joint thing, smoking this reefer because I want to be cool like everybody else.
And even not in your community in 1976, it's cool to smoke weed.
Oh, it was cool. It was acceptable. It was a Mr. Burbridge, my 10th grade teacher at Rice High School.
Okay.
124th Street in Lenox. The Congregation of Irish Christian Brothers. I never forget Rice. He said things become social norms. They become accepted. And a lot of times they don't have to be good for you.
Right.
But weed, the weed was cool. So I remember smoking the weed and I got high for the first time. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And the weed is different nowadays.
When's the last time you smoked weed?
The last time I smoked weed, Jam Master Jay was alive because he was a smoker.
Yeah.
But I remember I smoked weed. This one I was drinking still too. I smoked weed, and this chronic was it. It wasn't like the weed from back in the days. Weed
It was mellow.
Yes, yeah. It was like there was nothing wrong. Later on, they had the seeds. You put the weed on the album cover, and they roll the seeds off. But it was the weed was good back then. I think it was more natural.
It was wholesome.
It was wholesome. But the last time I smoked, Jay was alive, and we was in L.A., and you could just he went to get the weed, and when he got back in the car, he could smell it.
It was stunk.
It was like ammonia. And for some stupid reason, and I was going to add that I hated smoking weed.
You liked it at first. In the book, you say you felt cool at first,
Yeah,
and then it
until
started
I
to
found
bug you out.
alcohol, though.
Right. So what?
The weed got me paranoid. After a while, I started getting paranoid. Like, that shit will mess with you. It's cool if you smoke it in a room with a black light on in fluorescent stickies over there. But trying to smoke it and go out, and especially growing up in Hollis, you had to pay attention because it was gangs and it was stick-up kids. You had to be attentive growing up, so weed would throw you off your game. You would become vulnerable off the weed. But the weed, when I first smoked weed, it was cool in Dexter's room. But then when we did it again, and then it was like, yo, come on, let's go outside and play. It didn't feel right.
Well, the second you see something else, when you're in that womb, you're safe. And when you're out of the womb, it's not for you.
Right. It's like, what the
I have to deal with these people now
yes,
like this?
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't care about those guys on the corner, but now I'm thinking about them. Man. It's also, I believe it's brain chemistry. I believe your drug of choice is your brain chemistry. For me, I could smoke weed and it shut the fucking neurotic Jew in my head off. And I didn't get paranoid. I just fucking I didn't give a fuck. And I loved it. And I would have. So you're kind of like the Method Man, Snoop.
I liked those guys.
Willie Nelson.
I liked all those stuff. But I ruined it with heroin. I ruined.
That was a whole nother.
I ruined my weed with heroin, so now I don't fuck with anything because I can't put myself at risk.
I didn't like weed because it made me paranoid after a while. But the stupid reason is another kid younger than me named Little Pep. When he said it, he said, "I don't smoke weed, man, because it makes me paranoid. It makes me think too much."
Bam! Right? It fucked you up when he said it.
Confirmation for me. But
first time you pick up a drink.
The first time I picked up a drink, this is before the weed. First time I picked up a drink was after a Christmas party in my house. I probably was 7, because every party, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, birthday party, everything was always at the McDaniels family house.
Yeah, your parents threw crazy parties.
Crazy party. My parents were cool as hell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Very hardworking, this and that, but my house was the place where you come and get your Marvin Gaye and Al Green on. My house was the spot. So the first time I ever tasted a drink was you wake up in the morning and the ash, the cigarettes and the drinks and the empty beer cans are still in the living room.
Hold up for 1 second. So we just had to move spots. I've got Daryl, DMC McDaniels in my dad's house, and they're fucking redoing the building.
I know. But it's so New York, though. They're making a noise.
You like it.
The jackhammer.
You like how
Yeah.
it's interesting because you came from middle class Hollis, Queens,
Suburban Hollis,
where
Queens.
shit was, nothing was perfect, and you basically invented mainstream hip hop. And you basically, I mean, you arrived into the world of Hollywood perfection. All that shit is nothing like this.
Right.
Nothing like where you came from.
Right. Nothing like this.
So when you come back, it's like, oh yeah, it's like it feels like home.
Right. This is inspiring me at 58 years old that it's not over yet.
It's not over yet.
Dude, you're just beginning.
As long as we're here.
Hollywood will fool you and say, oh, you're old now. No, you're not.
Because you can do anything.
Rick Rubin, I heard Rick Rubin said, you can't say what you're doing now is better than what you did or what you did before. It doesn't live. It's not about that. This is like, I feel 12 years old in my room again.
Nice.
And I just came over to my friend's house.
It's beautiful. Wait, so what did Rick Rubin say then? Explain that to me.
No, he was saying, I saw him do a quote. What he was saying was this. Raising Hell in my Adidas was phenomenal. And the Walk This Way thing changed. But the record I made yesterday, you can't say it's not as good as Walk This Way just because Walk This Way did something. And this proves that.
And not to mention the way his career is. Because Rick Rubin, like, makes somebody who you don't think is going to make something,
right.
And he makes something new that doesn't sound new. He's,
right, exactly. We was going to sample Walk This Way. He said, do it over the way the band did it.
Right.
Like, and I love Rick because he said, I don't do nothing. I don't know no things like that. But if I come there, I'll say, why don't you do that?
He's a controversial character, though. People give him a lot of shit.
Oh, hold on.
Like the Beastie Boys give him a lot of shit. The Black Crowes give him a lot of shit.
Yeah.
How was your experience with him?
The coolest thing ever. Like, he's a guy that just loves music as much as people. It's almost like, you know who Rick is? Rick is a person that you can go downstairs right now, pull anybody off the street, bring him to the studio with you if you're a musician, and say, produce me. And then just listen to whatever they say and do it.
He's a genuine, authentic
He just
person.
loves music. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I think it'll be better if you... Because we was going to rhyme on Walk This Way. Me and Run had rhymes. Run was crying, Rick, Jay, D got bars. D got rhymes. Rick was like, no, I'm telling you.
You had original verses for Walk This Way.
It was 8-bar drums, 6-bar loop of the guitars. You know how rap songs go.
Sure.
You loop it. Over and RZA does it, Dre does it. You loop the drums and the riff plays and don't go to the singing. Goes back to the beat. So it was a loop of drums, guitar, drums, guitar. I remember my rhyme. We came out in 83. This is 86 now. We putting out this Raising Hell album. We didn't expect Raising Hell to do as good as the first album. But we knew we had to be the best DJs and MCs to ever touch a mic and turntable, because you look to the left, there's Rakim. You look to the right, there's Big Daddy Kane. You look to the front, it's Chuck D and Public Enemy. You look over there, it's like Coogee rapping Polo.
KRS-One.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And we were like the kind of leaders, but, people thought we were soft because we was getting too commercial. We was getting too famous.
That's very
So we had to make an album. Our thing was going to make an album and bust everybody ass Park Jam, New York City style.
Right.
So Walk This Way, I remember my rhyme. I was supposed to go, I'm DMC and the place to be. I've been rapping on a mic since 83. I'm the best MC in history, and there will never be an MC better than me. That's why they call me the K-I-N-G. And then Run was supposed to go, and I'm DJ Run, and I'm getting it done. And, the typical, we was going to kill him like that. Rick says, that's all good. That's all good.
That's very good rapping.
But you should do the record over the way the band did it. So me and Run go, Rick, what the fuck you think we doing? We're going to loop this motherfucker, sample it, and rhyme. He says, no, what I mean by doing it over the way they did it is do it over the way they originally wrote it. So Jay, rest in peace, Jay goes, oh, wow. Yo, and then me and Run turn it to, what the fuck? You remember Arnold and Willis?
Sure.
What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Jason? Yo, it took us a week to go.
He saw it, though, when Rick Rubin said it.
When he said
Jay
it,
was
Jay
like,
said
I
it.
get it. I get it's a cover. It's the first hip-hop cover of a rock and roll song.
Yep. Jay's like, it's never been done. Nobody had ever, singers cover other singers' records. If we was a band, we could have did it. I'm trying to say if we was a band, like say if Run DMC was like a real band. Oh, they covered Walk This Way as a band. Jay was like motherfucking MCs covering the Beat Jam people that we rhymed over. That's what Jay was.
It's revolutionary. It's like the Beatles covered Chuck Berry, or the Rolling Stones covered Chuck Berry, or Led Zeppelin covered Robert Johnson. But Run DMC covering Aerosmith is a whole different thing.
It's a whole different.
Which is what gave it the juice.
Exactly.
And the fact that Aerosmith was all fucked up and they needed a break.
Look, for them, my joke is they could have made a record with God, Jesus, and Moses, and nobody would have cared.
Right.
No, it's God, Jesus. Nope, they over. They were humble enough when they got the call. Yo, I'm Rick Rubin. I'm producing Run DMC. I know you know who Run DMC is. We're doing Walk This Way Over, and they want to do it with you. No, we want y'all to do it with them. We're doing it, but we want y'all to do it with them. Who's this? You know, the assistant picks up the phone.
Right.
This is Rick Rubin. I'm producing Run DMC. You know who Run DMC is. We're doing Walk This Way Over. We want y'all to do it with us. Hold on, click. Hey, guys, there's some guy named Rick Rubin on the phone. So for them, they was like, okay, yeah, we kind of know these Run DMC guys. Yeah, we know King of Rock. So for them, is what the management is, do you want to do it? For them, is what the fuck we got to lose.
Yeah, of course. And also, Steven Tyler was always he loved like black music, and he loved that kind of stuff.
I always tell people about that.
He's
you
funky
sit down
like
and
that.
interview the Aerosmith. If you sit down and interview Steven Tyler and Joe Perry about them, they're going to spend half the interview talking about their black blues influence.
Exactly. And you had already established the King of Rock persona. So was it enticing to you? And we're going to get back to the beginning of your alcoholism too. We just jumped into something.
I wanted to be a rock star.
Exactly.
I didn't want to be the king of rap. The Curtis Blow and Melly Mel. Me growing up in Queens in the 70s, Dan Ingram, 77 WABC.
Right.
They played Sly the Family
WABC,
Stone.
yeah.
They played, remember, it was a phenomenal state. They played, it wasn't segregated. But that's where I heard the Led Zeppelins. That's where I heard the Beatles. That's where I heard Procol Harum.
Yeah, man.
That's where I heard all of those Harry Chapin.
You love Harry Chapin.
And Jim Key, I love him to
and
death.
Jim Croce.
And Jim Croce, all of that. Joni, that's where you just heard it.
You know how they do the Spotify at the end of the year? They do like the biggest song you played all year. My song last year was Jim Croce, Operator.
Really?
That was my most played song for
Really?
I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, that was my most played song.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Wow.
Isn't that really weird? Yeah.
That was your most played
Isn't
song.
that bizarre?
Because it resonates
I
with
don't.
you
It just
or
makes me feel like I'm home.
Yep.
There's something about it. Jim Croce's fucking.
Amazing.
You know, he's great, but I was never like a big Jim Croce guy.
No,
growing
but
up.
it was the music itself.
When I lived in Los Angeles for years, right? And easy listening oldies stations in Los Angeles are way different than in New York. They like play songs in New York. They play songs that reference New York. And in Los Angeles, they play songs that reference Los Angeles. So they would play Operator, you know, with I got something in LA with my best friend, Ray. You know what I mean? Like, so like they would pump Operator out there, and I was all fucked up. So it reminded me of that. And then there was a TV show called.
That's like me growing up with Cats in the Cradle. I would
Please.
just always hear that music. There was just something mystical about it.
I think that's a good word. Where were you at in your alcoholism at Walk This Way? We missed the whole.
Oh, it
first
wasn't
time you
that
drank.
alcoholic, cuz. Let me explain it to you. Wasn't that alcoholic? I was more alcoholic than everybody else. But Old English and Bacardi, rum, everybody drunk. Smith drunk probably 440s. I was getting celebrated because I drunk 12. If you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So, and I remember Smith being drunk as hell. I'm not an alcoholic. I just drink a lot. So in my mind, I'm rationalizing.
I'm not.
I felt like, hold up, people in Hollis, Dougie Fresh would tell you stories. I always have 40s with me. But everybody always had 40. I just had more than everybody else. But because it was a accepted part of the way in the hood, we drank 40s. D drinks 12, so I'm a hero.
Now, at the same time, like, but let's go back for a second. Because
I want to tell you about when I went to I was like 7 or 8, and you go downstairs, and you sip the liquor and say, what the fuck? Oh my God. What the fuck? It's not fucking, it's not CNC grape. What the hell is my mother and father doing? What the fuck? That was the name. Oh, you go to the Ballantine in Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
This is some little kid
Nothing's
shit.
tasting that good, though.
You take the old beer that your uncle drunk last night, and you go, the fuck? What the fuck? This is what they're doing. So that was like a turnoff to me until I found out what the shit do to you after weed. So with the Raising Hell years, 86 to 88, everybody was fucking drinking. So nobody noticed
First,
that I had a problem.
I
I didn't notice I had a problem because you're supposed to do that.
right. I love how much you love comics. I love how much you talk about it. You have a comic company. Daryl makes comics now. I love comics. I came up in this room watching Run DMC on the TV, reading comics in this room.
Exactly.
So this is pretty cool for me. You loved the superhero, the ability to transform from being mild-mannered Peter Parker to Spider-Man.
Where does Spider-Man live at?
In Queens. It's great.
That shit was real to me.
Yeah, well, you could see your
It was-
spots.
it was real to
We
me.
could see New York. That's why DC fucked up, because they invented a place, and it's like,
They're
who
trying
cares?
to be in Metropolis and Gotham. No.
It's like, what
It
is
was
that?
corny.
They didn't
Was
know.
it
I don't know
corny?
why they also they had to create something when it was all right here. So
Why didn't you just put this right?
so you grew up in.
Stanley, I love you.
I love
for doing it.
Yeah, I love it.
I couldn't leave the block. So every time I open up a Marvel comic book, I got a geographical lesson about the world I lived in, and I ain't have to leave. I learned about the Lower East Side. I learned about Midtown Manhattan. I learned about Harlem.
Yeah.
I learned about New York,
Power
like
Man and
Stan
Iron
Lee.
Fist.
And you know what's beautiful? This is funny too. You know, I had the best parents ever. But I went in my room a million times and prayed to God, God, will you kill my mother and father? Because they didn't let me out the house.
Right.
I was a kid that when that street light come on, you have your ass in this house. And I remember being in the house, because it usually get dark about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the summertime,
Yep.
right? And Nathan and Jocko and Warren, Glenn, and Gregory, I could hear them outside playing until 1 in the morning.
Right. Having fun.
And when I was this, when I got a little older, when I got 12, I could stay out until 11. But I remember 10 and lower, God, will you please kill my father with a pick of shit?
It's a great prayer.
No, it's
Yes.
the best prayer. You
Yes.
mad as hell because everybody is outside playing. So number one, I had to have imagination. The comic books educated me. And what I mean by that is Warren, Glenn, and Gregory, Jocko, and Nathan, I don't know how they did this. I guess the movies didn't give a fuck. They got to see Foxy Brown. They got to see the Pam Grier movies. They got to see Shaft. And so my parents would get babysitters to go see Shaft. And I come outside the next day, Jocko, Nathan, and all of them, they went down.
They were with your
The
parents.
parents didn't care about
Right.
them.
Of course. And your parents kept you in,
Coming
which kept you reading comics.
Right. And comics was educating me. Because in my world, comic books was the only place I saw geeky, nerdy, awkward people like me who were smart. I was a straight A student, but they were badass. But I wasn't that badass because in my world, the badass people are the gangbangers and the thugs. You know what I'm saying? So and that's why I hated weed. I got as far.
Because it was not what superheroes did, kind of thing?
No, because when I smoke the weed, it throws me off my game because I'm quick. I'm running
right,
when they
right,
come
right,
to take
right.
the money.
Right.
I can get
Right.
away. I'm a little bigger than all the other kids. When
Right.
I smoke the weed, I'm getting caught out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You
The
couldn't
guy
make your
swing
move.
on me, I could move.
Right.
But
right.
when smoke weed, you're getting snuffed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now, because that's in my mind, the weed and when Run started hanging with me later on, me and Run didn't hang out till 8th grade. But when Run started hanging with me later on, he was like, Dad, D, you bold. I said, no, I ain't bold. I'm not fucking high. You know what I'm saying? So the weed made me, I smoked the weed. It felt good to smoke it. But then, like Little Pep said, it made me think. So now I'm paranoid. Oh, shit, that guy over there is going to take my money. Oh, shit, this guy over there. They probably wasn't, but if I didn't smoke, but when I drunk, let no motherfucker try.
Right. What are you going to do?
I got confidence.
So-
the comic books was my confidence to exist in this realm.
So the equation I want to talk about is comic books plus alcohol equals hip hop in this weird way.
No,
right?
No, it was comic books that equal hip hop. Cause
Same imagination kind of thing.
yeah, it's all imagination. Prior to hip hop coming into my house, all I did was remember the 10 garbage cans?
Yeah.
The 10
Yeah, sure. Where Oscar the Grouch lived.
Yes. Those garbage can tops are my Captain America shield. My father's actual hammer is Thor's hammer.
Right.
So I used to spend all my time playing superheroes. That's all I did. It was pretend, make believe. Stan Lee's comic books. The reason why I was a good student was I need to know what the fuck Silver Surfer and Galactus and Reed Richards is talking about. So from first grade to sixth grade, I'm paying attention.
Well, they make it cool to be smart. Reed
Yes.
Richards is like the greatest character in the history
You
of
just said
comic
it. You
books.
just summed it up. So I'm a straight A student. I'm reading comic books, and I'm getting an education of the city that I live in without leaving the block. So somewhere along the line, it's preparing me. So I hear a tape of this guy called Grandmaster Flash taking Chic's Good Time record that the radio plays from start to end, and it goes off and play the next one. Or prior to hip hop coming into Queens, there was DJs that would play at the block parties, but they would play the whole Evelyn Champagne King record, mix it into Chic's Good Time. When that went off, they'll play a Marvin Gaye. Or I'm hearing a tape. Now remember, there's no videos, no album cover, no. This dude called first of all, the name caught me because it's superhero. Flash, that's the Flash in the book. Why he's naming himself over? You gotta understand when you kids think. Why? And what the fuck is a Grandmaster? I didn't know about
Furious
chess.
5
Right.
sounds great.
But before I heard that, this guy's taking these are the good times. Dum, dum, ling, 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 ling. Good times. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Good time. The shit did it. What the fuck? So now I'm looking at the box. And it keeps going, good times. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Good times. Then it goes, good times. Good times. Good. What the fuck? How is it doing it? Then it goes, not only good times, good. Then it goes, good. Flash is catching the good.
Yeah.
And then it record go, what the fuck? And right when it happened on that tape, I go home trying to figure out, I'm Tony Stark's now. Something just happening there. And it's funny how my evolution of hip-hop happened. All of a sudden, my brother comes home. Come on, we're going over to Anthony Wallace's house. Why? Anthony got turntables. That's how it happened. So I go over to Anthony Wallace's house. He was the first guy in Hollis, my little area, to get turntables. I'm sitting there, and Anthony's doing what the guy was doing on the tape. So I still didn't care about it. I'm still a kid. I got my comic book. It was experience it. It goes away for something. My brother brings it back to me, and it goes away. It wasn't with me yet. So then, Boobie Long, my brother's other friend, Anthony had, remember the newspapers and magazines used to advertise hi-fi stereos?
Sure.
What was your favorite part to look at? The different speaker sign and all that. So Anthony's DJ set was the household hi-fi stereo with a bunch of household speakers and 2 of the household turntables. A couple of weeks later, Boobie, he didn't do stick-ups and he didn't sell weed. He had 3 real jobs. So Boobie, we could call, Anthony lived in a house like me in Alfred. Boobie, we didn't have projects and apartment buildings like this. We had one in the middle of Hollis around the corner from me. Boobie lived there. He called me and my brother, he called my brother over. I had to go with him. We go to Boobie's house. He got techniques.
Oh, shit.
He got the because he had 3 jobs.
Nice,
Boobie was rich. So then my brother goes, yo, we got to get, because now my brother got it, his boys got it. We got to get it. So me and my brother goes, we got to get turntables, Daryl. He sits me down. Daryl, we got to get turntables, man. We got to do the DJ thing. And I'm looking at him like, you know, what I don't care about that thing. You know what I'm saying? It's cool when I hear it, but I got my comic books. I got my guy. I was a huge fan of the 30s, Bela Lugosi, Boris Korg.
The hard shits.
The Wolfman and all of those were the best. And the black and white Godzilla films.
Classic.
The Ghidorah, Mothra, all of that.
Rodan.
That's my wife. I'm good. What the fuck you turn? I don't need no turn. You need turn. So he says, here's what we're going to do. My brother goes, Me and my brother had a problem. We didn't sell weed. We didn't rob houses like all other kids. And we didn't do stick-ups. I mean, there was kids 16, 17 years old. Yo, such and such did a stick-up. But everybody that was doing stickers was going to jail. I couldn't believe it was 16 and 7. The 13, 12, 13, and 14 kids was going to Spofford.
You don't want
So
to go
crime,
there.
you don't want to. It
No.
was crime. It was Spofford when you was younger and then Rikers.
Yeah, you don't want to go to either.
So my brother goes, yo, we got a problem. We don't sell weed and we don't do stickers, but we got to get the turntables. So here's what we're going to do. And this is funny. We're going to do a comic book sale. Because we had a turntable, amplifier, receiver, and speakers. We just need to get one turntable.
And a mixer.
And a $40 Gemini mixer. They had a $40 budget mixer when the stores used to sell remember here in Manhattan, there was a bunch of stores that sold
Everything.
stereo equipment.
Yeah.
So me and my brother did a comic book sale to get a Gemini mixer, turntables, and some records to go with
What you had.
what we had in there. It was lower budget than Anthony's. Anthony's was dope. Boobies was the real shit. He
Right.
had what Flash was using.
Right.
So right after that, Rapper's Delight comes out. Rapper's Delight comes out. So my brother brings home this very attractive looking single, because remember, there's no albums. And it said Sugar Hill Gang with the rainbow. It's very attractive. And he put that on a turntable, put the needle on it, and this thing, it said hip hop, the hip, dibby, hip. What the fuck? Oh shit, okay. But it was still a little, I'm a kid, so it was still a little older for me. But it was the wrong thing. The thing that caught my attention was Big Bang Hank's rhyme about Superman.
Right.
Oh, shoot, this guy's talking about Superman. So now I'm in. It's cool. And then I noticed, this is a remake of the Chic Good Time thing. So I'm putting two and two together. So my brother goes, we use most of my comics to get the money. So after we get the equipment established, he goes, yo, when I ain't home, don't touch my turntables. But that's the Big Brother stuff. So when he would leave, I would go in the basement to try to figure out what I just heard with the Good Times things.
So you were trying to put it together.
Yeah, I was just trying to do what the Grandmaster guy with the name of Flash from the DC comic books was doing. And I was able to do it.
Could you DJ good?
It was incredible.
Can you still do it?
No, because I stopped it. But I'll get to that. So now, every time I'm hearing a tape of a DJ doing stuff, Super Sperm, remember all the jams?
Yeah.
I would go in the basement because my brother would, every beat, break beat that was coming into Queens through the tapes from Grandmaster Flash, Grand Wizard Theodore, Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation tapes, Furious 5 Flash tapes, and Theodore tapes, and any DJ tapes come. My brother would get the records that were popular, and I would learn to do it. So now what happened was he comes home with this record, and it was plain, which is a white album sleeve, record sleeve, because it was an album. And it was a red label record, very bland. It just said enjoy in big black letters. But then it said Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5.
Right.
So my DJ name was Grandmaster Get High in the Basement. This is just for me.
Grandmaster Get High in the
Grandmaster
basement?
Get High. You didn't need Old English or reefer to intoxicate you because my music will intoxicate you.
Brilliant.
I wish I would have lived with that. You don't have to get high because my music will handle all the stuff that the drugs do. So now in my basement, because of the Furious 5, and the name of the song was Super Rapping. I forgot that it said enjoy Grandmaster Superheroes. And that shit came on. It wasn't like hip hop, the hip. That was some disco rapping shit. This shit was at a party night. It was something else.
Classic hip-hop.
I became two entities that day. I'm Grandmaster Get High, and I'm Easy D, the MC. Because my name is Daryl. D is a letter in my name, and it's easy for me to do that. So that's what I was doing in my basement, all alone. And then my brother goes to the army. He goes to the army.
And he doesn't take the turntables with him.
He can't take them. So it's all mine. So that's all I did from 8th grade, or I spent 7th grade, all through 8th grade. That's all I did. So this one day, Joseph Simmons from the other class, he comes over. He got a paper bag with cold fried chicken in it. And I go, yo, where the other students at? He goes, it's just me. So it's just you. We play one-on-one. Finished playing one-on-one. he goes, let me get some water. I go, oh, my mother and father don't get home till 4. It's 3:15. Come on in to get the water. So when I let him in to get the water, go wait in the basement, he goes in the basement, sees my turntable.
Did his eyes just pop out of his head?
So I come downstairs. He goes, you do that? I go, no.
Why?
It's my brother's. Because it was my make-believe time.
Right.
That me DJing and rhyming and writing my rhymes is for me. It's my escape. So I go, no. Well, he goes, well, my brother's name is Russell Rush. I know you see the flyers on the telephone poles in the trees. He manages Curtis Blow, and he starts going in, and he books Grandmaster Flash. So he's naming the Flash and the first 5 guys that I'm fantasizing about. He tells me, yeah, I'm the son of Curtis Blow. When it's not school year, during the summertime, I go and DJ and rap with Curtis. What? I go, I do it a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's like, you do? And he said, show me something. So I do it. He was like, yo. He said, I don't know how to do the quick mix. He said, I know how to DJ and blend and all that. So I taught him how to do the quick mix. So what we would do after school is get out 2:20, 10-minute walk from 2:30 to 3, we play one-on-one. Then from 3 to 3:45, we go in the basement and DJ. So we did that for about 7 times. Usually when I know Run's coming over after school, I hide my rhyme book under the coffee table. Because the turntables was in the corner of my basement, and then there was a couch. There was a closet, and then there's the couch and the coffee table.
Did you call him Run then?
No, Joseph. I didn't do. He's DJ Run, but he was Joe to me. If you go look at old school flyers, you'll see DJ Run, the son of Curtis Blow. So he was a professional rapper since he was 15. So this one particular day, I'm DJing. I never forget. This particular day, I forget to hide my rhyme book. And I look over, shit. Joe picks it up, and he starts looking at it. Then he looks at me, he goes, yo, Daryl, you wrote this? And I was like, yeah, it's a hobby. He goes, yo, this is real good. Then he goes, I'll never forget. I'm on the turntables, and he's over on the couch like that. And he looks up at me. This is really good. And he looks up at me, and it's like a movie. He goes, I'll never forget these words. When my brother, everything went slow motion. When my brother Russell lets me make a record, I'm putting you in my group. I'll never forget, I was looking at him. That shit went in 1 year. I was like, motherfucker, no. So now I get to Rice High School. I'm hearing this different rhyme thing, right? So I go from 9th grade to 12th grade. When I get to 12th grade, the Cold Crush 4MCs versus the Fantastic Five at Harlem World. One of the most classic, iconic moments in hip-hop history. When I heard that, I went from being Easy D to DMC because the Cold Crush had a rhyme routine using Harry Chapin's Cats in the Cradle medley that I grew up on. See, my whole thing was preparation. I get to 12, from 9th grade to 12th grade, I'm getting a one-on-one ultra in-depth course on what hip-hop really is. It has nothing to do with these bullshit records. That's why the 50th anniversary of hip-hop is coming. That means it's been going on for 49 years. And every year with the hip-hop anniversary, they talk about us record. We are irrelevant to the discussion. Me, Jay-Z, Eminem, all of us record-making motherfuckers don't say nothing. Talk to the motherfuckers that invented this shit. Because the greatest period ever in the history of hip-hop is not the period of recorded rap. It's before that. So the Cold Crush, I'm listening to 77 WABC, falling in love with Jim Croce and Harry Chapin. Sure. So Cold Crush comes out with this routine over Sharon, the rock band's Rockin' in the Pocket song, sped up. The song was gotta rock it in a pocket. The DJs Flash and Theodore and Bam would speed it up, so it go gotta rock it in with the fucking chipmunk voices. But then they said it came on, and this is when DMC was born. This routine with a Harry Chapin melody, D from Daryl, MC from McDaniels. I'm becoming DMC. Then I just started penning very aggressive. Before it was like, hey, I'm Daryl Mack, and this is my mom's, and this is. Now I'm DMC, the K-I-N-G, the baddest motherfucker. My game is boom, boom. So I graduate. Class of 82 in June, I graduate. Send my resume out from the guidance counselor and all of that. August of 82, a letter comes in the mail. Addressed to me. Oh, shoot. Well, cool. This is like, whoa. This means I'm getting older and I'm growing up. I open it. It says St. John's University on it. I open it up. Mr. McDaniels. Somebody calling me Mr. Oh,
Nice.
shit. Mr. McDaniels, we are proud to inform you have been accepted to St. John's University. What? Oh, shoot. So I run past my mother and father in the kitchen. Shoot. Boy, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I run down to the basement. Why? I got to go in the basement and write a rhyme about
Wow.
getting accepted. So I go in the basement. I'm DMC. In the place to be, I'm going to St. John's University. And since kindergarten, I wanted to look back on my whole journey to school. Since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge, but after 12th grade. So I write this rhyme. It's in June of 82. August of 82, the phone rings. It's Joe. Daryl, what's up? You know, we seen each other. He went to LaGuardia Community College. We would see each other at the PAL, but, you know.
But you weren't chilling all the time.
Oh, yeah, because that's how we grown, and we don't go to elementary school no more. We got our own lives. But we're just hanging out on and off. So then he calls August 82. Daryl, what's up? Hey, how you doing? I'm good. Remember 4 years ago when I told you that when my brother lets me, yeah, grab your rhyme book. We're going to the studio. He came and got me on a Sunday in August of 82. We went to Green Street Recording Studio, right down here on Green Street off of Houston, and we made It's Like That, and that's the way it is. With the B-side, Sucker MCs.
Now hold up for a second.
My life hasn't been this changed.
I think there's something important that needs to be said here. Like, you hear about hip hop origin stories. You know, I'm a big hip hop fan, and I like hearing hip hop origin stories. And you kind of just assume that there's a couple of people that are from a neighborhood and are chilling and whatever. And it seems like this break between you and Run was long enough that somebody else could have gotten that spot.
Oh, for sure.
So the fact that 4 years ago he remembered your rhymes, it's like
Tells you a lot.
It says a real lot, I think. And the fact that you weren't, I mean, the sad thing to me,
He was going to be a solo artist.
so why didn't he do it?
He didn't want to be alone, and this is funny too. Once he said, D, we're going to write this record called, if you listen to Sucker MCs, he rhymes 3 times, and I'm only at the end. Because that was his record alone. What had happened was Russell said, when Run in 8th grade was Russell, let me make a record. Russell said, no, but he was very persistent. And Russell was like, okay, Joey, here's the deal. Show me a high school diploma, and I'll let you go to the studio. Because Russell said, if your record flops or nobody cares,
Russell's
at
smart.
least you got something to fall
Russell
back
knew what
on.
he was doing.
So what happened to Joe? Joe was going to do his record, but he remembered his friend Daryl McDaniels got some dope shit. I'm not going to be. Run had a record before It's Like That, Sucker MCs called Street Kid. And he came over my house and played it for me. I'm just a street kid, street kid. I'm just a street kid, street kid. Working hard and struggle. You know, the typical rap thing. So now he comes in my basement, sees what I'm writing, and then he calls me now because he remembered that. He had no idea I had 4 years of some other shit that was about to explode. So we gonna make It's Like That. He laid Suck MCs, and Russell was totally against me. Remember the disco records and the club records in New York? The Fat Lady, Marsha Walsh,
Yeah.
But they made the model and the people tour. Russell was going to do that with Run DMC. The group was going to be called Run the MC. And I was on It's Like That, but I wasn't on Suck MCs. Run was going to tour with whoever Russell was going to hire to be, because I'm Joe's knucklehead friend. This is fucking nerdy, geeky Daryl, Joe. This ain't Curtis Blow. You're not bringing me Melly Mel. So Russ was totally against it. He only let me do the record in the studio from a production standpoint because I wrote it. But when it was time to go out and tour, you know how managers are.
But
we're going to get a nice, light-skinned looking kid.
But didn't he hear your voice?
Who?
Russell. When he
Yeah,
heard
he
you
heard
say
it.
I'm
He still
DMC
didn't
in the
care.
place to be, he didn't
No,
hear.
this is what changed it. He heard me on It's Like That, but It's Like That was no different from Planet Rock. Anybody could have been singing.
Right.
Planet Rock was established because you knew it was a Soul Sonic Force, Mr. Big's Pow Wow. You ain't changing Mr. Big. But for Run VMC, I was just fortunate that my initials was DMC.
And it sounded a lot like DMC.
Because if it ain't work out, Russell wouldn't have me. So Joe go, we make It's Like That. Larry Smith, greatest hip-hop producer ever, nobody knows about. Larry Smith produced Run DMC's first 2 albums by himself, and Houdini's groundbreaking album with Friends, Freaks Come Out at Night.
Basketball.
Enough said, all of that. Oh, right. So Larry Smith. So we give it to Larry. So Run goes in and says, I got this song called Circumcise. He goes, make it. I'm sitting in the studio like this. I'm done. So Run comes out and says, D, go in there and put a rhyme on the record. Because now this is beat rhyming. It's like that was a written record that we got to get it on radio, positive message, the whole thing. Circumcise was just the shit we do in the streets. And Run knew I could do that because he saw what I was writing in the basement. So he goes, yo, go in the studio and put a rhyme on her. I go, nah, man. Trying to get me in trouble. Russell hates me. Russell was telling me, D, go sit over here. Don't come nowhere near the board. You go stay over there. So I'm just being obedient. And I'm looking at my watch because I didn't tell my mother and father I was going to make a record. I thought it was like going over Joe's house. So long story short, Joe goes, motherfucker, just go say your newest rhyme. Okay. What was my newest rhyme? DMC. So I go in there and I lay that. As soon as I come out the booth, who's the first person? Russell, oh my God, I didn't know this and that. So that was my defining moment.
There's another thing in the book around this time that spoke to me is where you said you would find yourself drinking a lot and be able to spit lyrics forever, kind of braggadocious lyrics and fueled by alcohol and it kind of
confidence in the bottle.
So like how much were you drinking in this period?
During this period, we didn't drink till after we laid the verses.
And then you celebrate because you didn't want to fuck it up.
Yeah. So after that, I probably, if it's studio, because me and Run, we went and stayed in a 10-hour session. We go lay our vocals, leave, and let Larry do it. And then later on, when we put Jay in the group, Jay would stay there. So Run would smoke a lot of weed. I would probably go through, and this is before 40 ounces. I would probably drink 3 quarts at this time. 3 quarts.
It's a lot of.
You know, other people would just drink 1 quarter Old English. 3 quarts.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot. Yeah,
quarts are such a funny amount of beer. A quart of beer.
It's never enough. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But I was drinking quarts. And when the 40s came, the 40s was a whole other thing because now we getting money. So now, when we would tour, I would fucking go to the ice machine with the garbage cans in the hotel rooms and fill the tub with ice, and we put like 50. But everybody was drinking. Smith, Garfield. Jay would have an occasional 40 now and then. Hurricane would probably drink 2.
And they would
DJ
stay smoking
Hurricane.
weed, though. They would.
And Run and Jay smoked more weed than God could possibly grow on this earth. They were right. Them motherfuckers smoked all the time.
And when was the smash of smashes, though? Like, when did you go from nerdy kid about to go to St. John's to, biggest... I mean, like, Run DMC.
Rockbox. First record on what's his name. But I forgot to add this. Before the drinking escalated, it went from quarts of Old English, and that was during the day. That was normal. Come out at 11 o'clock. Everybody in the hood drunk Old English all day. Or they drunk Colt 45, which Billy D. Williams made famous. Smoke weed all day. Newport cigarettes. In the 80s, because Cools, when I was little, my aunts and uncle, they was Cools.
Sure.
That's why Chuck D said, a fool smokes Cools because he chokes on Camels. Because Camel cigarettes didn't have a filter. Remember that? So let's go back a little bit. Around it's like that Circumcise times, cocaine was everywhere. So there was always cocaine, weed, and alcohol around. Cocaine was, everybody did coke.
Did you do coke then?
I did coke. Yeah, I did coke.
When did you do coke the first
time?
But
in the beginning, at the fucking studio. With Russell and them.
Russell loved coke.
Yeah, and Joe knew about coke before me because he was with Curtis. I'm telling you, not crack. Crack came later and just right there. Cocaine, I remember they used to sell dimes of coke and then 25s of coke. When I started going to the Fever, I found out about apes. That was a whole other thing. Now, I spoke with Mancow about this. I spoke with a bunch of journalists and radio personalities and talk show and we would mention this on air. The audience, we don't get it wrong, but the coke was good in the 80s. No, that's a bad thing to say, but the coke was
Our audience is just drug addicts, so go in.
The coke was real good. It was coke.
It was that Scarface cartel.
And it was coke. Smooth, and it was just coke, and it was good. That's real funny. So there was a lot of coke in the beginning. from like 83 all the way till about 89.
Now,
Coke
but
was average. So we was sniffing Coke. Jay sniffed, Kane sniffed, but they didn't get high off. You know what I'm saying? It was very casual. So Jay is cool. You know, Jay's younger than us, but he's older than Russell and Fly and shit. So they did Coke the cool way. You know, me and my friend, shit, I got money, let's go fucking get a gram of that shit. And that runs out, let's go get another one. And every Roxy, Fever, Roseland, The World, Danceteria, but Coke, we would go to radio stations during the tape. We'd go to fucking Florida, and we go to the radio station. We go to the, the R&B black station and stuff, and walk in the booth, the guy on the air. Hey, yo, this is 105 point, and Coke sitting out. Like, it was such a part of society.
But it certainly wasn't in the music at all.
No.
If you listen to the music, you don't know.
Everybody.
And it doesn't feel like Coke unless, now that I'm hearing you mention it, like maybe it does feel a little like Coke. Like, were you using Coke when you guys were recording?
No. Coke was a recreational,
very
social
shit.
Yes, super. So the constant drugs was weed and alcohol. Bacardi, this is before Hennessy, it was Bacardi, rum and Cokes. It was Smirnoff vodka. There was this other, there was this peach flavored liquor. We would mix the vodka with it and called Fuzzy Navels, and it was Old English.
Now,
and that was my life. But see, it didn't get out of hand for me and drinking until the 90s, which is what I talk about in the book.
Right. At that point, New York City is such an incredible place. There's such a it's such an incredible
world.
And there's that weird connection between new wave music and hip hop.
You
and
go
disco
downtown.
And punk rock.
There's Blondie and the Ramones. Yeah, Lou Reed, Madonna, Run DMC, the Beasties, Africa Bambaataa, Basquiat, Keith Haring.
It was a crazy, beautiful time because New York was poor and people were here and it could support art.
It was just art and creativity and fashion. And it was pure. It was the fun.
And how do drugs and alcohol intersect with that scene? And also,
everybody was getting high.
And you were this kid who was a nerd, who wasn't allowed out, and now you're the coolest person in the biggest city in the world.
Money. What's that? Let me get that.
How did that feel? Was that hard? How much did alcohol protect?
It didn't feel like abuse because when we was broke, we was still doing it. It's just now when we was broke, it was like, yo, you got $1, we get nickel bags, save your money up. Yo, next weekend we gonna get high as a fuck. We gonna get a fifth of fucking Southern Comfort and this and that. So the problem was now I'm getting money, I could get more of it. So it wasn't like it was you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, we were addicts, but we didn't think we were addicts.
And also it didn't have the consequences that it wound up having.
Right.
You talked about...
We got high, wake up the next day, go get high again.
But it wasn't a thing. There was no consequences. There was, and in the book, there's a lot of talk about anxiety and depression. Was there depression in that period?
Yes. It was what I was diagnosed with when I finally went to therapy. They told me why I was drinking. Running Jay, from day one, always expressed how they felt. Fuck you, that's healthy. Fuck you, Running Jay, I would never argue. Because subconsciously, and even to this day, D's the nicest guy ever. He gets to know. I'm a little different.
You do seem
now.
like a very nice person.
I am. But what's a little different now, I will say how I feel without holding it in. So when I went to rehab, I was diagnosed with suppressed motion. When I went to rehab to stop drinking, it's where I discovered therapy. But I went to rehab to stop drinking because I wanted to go find my birth mother because I just found out I was adopted at age 35.
Well, that's when the world got dropped on your head.
Right. But instead of telling Jay and Run, fuck you, I don't want to do this record, there was a lot of shit I did in my career that I did and I shouldn't have did it. But instead of expressing how I felt, just cover it with the old English. So you get high, but when it goes away, the emotions are still there. So all this shit was building up. And it didn't explode until down with the kink.
Okay, so in terms of day-to-day consequences of alcohol or drug use, there weren't any real serious ones.
No, because everybody was doing it. And I always make that clear. Everybody. It wasn't like in 83, 84, 85, it wasn't noticeable because everybody had 40.
But though, there are people in 83, 84, and 85 that are drinking more than you, and they are fucking having horrible consequences.
Yes, but it never happened to me.
Right. But you guys
Eventually
also,
it did. I got acute pancreatitis.
I know.
Because that's what. Look, you can drink 40s. The motherfuckers that was drinking, but these motherfuckers was drinking Wild Irish Rose, Blackberry Brandy. These motherfuckers was like, all they did was get high.
And then crack.
One of the things that people don't understand, I never got high at home. Like, I didn't bring it home. It was only when I was out to function and fit in is when I did it.
Well, the other thing about Run DMC is that, like there was, I love how you describe jumpsuit and Indian headdress wearing hip hop groups. And you guys were the first totally accessible group that really showcased styles,
As it is.
Exactly. And the rhymes reflected that too, your guys' personality.
Yes, we wasn't disco rapping DJ man, want to be on the radio. No, we was light skinned, live in Queens. I love eating chicken and cup. My cat got a big long caddy knot. Whoa! It was appealing. It didn't matter if you was in Compton or Beverly Hills. You could relate to that because that's what was in New York.
And the coolest thing and the weirdest thing to me is it's like,
we wasn't celebrities. We were dynamic. But when people saw Run DMC, they felt part of it. Now these guys are such celebrities, it's untouchable.
Well, that was what made you guys so
Cool.
so popular, so cool, so accessible.
Just like y'all.
But then you did become celebrities.
You.
When does celebrity fucking change your life?
Probably when Walk This Way came out. And I say this in interviews. Now I know what Mick Jagger and Michael Jackson feel like. Because prior to Walk This Way, I used to drive on the Grand Central Parkway to go everywhere. Or the LIE or whatever. And I could just drive and not cause an accident. And back then, I could wear my full gear and fit in. But once Walk This Way, like people who knew Run DMC from Rockbox and King of Rock, you had to know. But if I was just standing on a corner prior to 86, I looked like the black kid that lived on your block.
Right.
Or I looked like the drug dealers. But when Walk This Way came out, that's fucking Batman.
Right.
That's why it was Walk This Way that made me fucking, I can't wear my costume in public no more.
So what did you wear?
My costume in public.
So
but I started real I couldn't go nowhere now because now everybody knows.
And when Aerosmith recorded with you, they were sober at that point, right?
Yes, they were sober when we first met, when we recorded with them and when we did the video. They were nice, they were cool.
And that video is such, I mean, when you talk about integrated radio stations, whatever, back in the day, Sly and the Family Stone is one of my all-time favorite bands.
Wow.
The Specials, the Specials?
Yes.
I love integrated bands. Like, there's just something about it. It's beautiful.
Oh,
the
my
music is
goodness.
usually good.
Yes.
And there's something that feels so good to see that that's possible. Yeah. So when Walk This Way came out as a white kid in this room, I was like, this is amazing. This is white people and black people.
I traveled to South Sudan. I traveled to Europe. I traveled to Asia. Since 86 to this day, I could go somewhere and people say this. D, when Steven Tyler took that mic stand and knocked down the wall that was separating y'all, that didn't just happen in a video. It happened in the world.
It was a big deal.
Big.
And it was really
2 generations coming together, black people, white, name it all. That was the beauty of it too. We could have did that record the way they did it without them. It wouldn't have been as big.
No.
People would be saying, yo, remember when Run DMC covered Aerosmith? But it would have been over. Rick was smart to show the world what exists already.
Right.
It wasn't new. Clarence Clemens has been playing with Bruce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ginger Baker went to Africa to rock where black and white were all. Go look at some of the classic rock bands in the 70s.
No, Sly, the drummer in Sly was
exactly.
white
That's
guy.
what I'm saying.
Fucking,
so it existed, but the media, the dominant images wasn't being expressed. And Run DMC and Aerosmith changed that. But we changed it with Rockbox. Walk This Way isn't it's a tongue twister. Walk This Way isn't the first rock rap record. The first rock rap record is the Rock Box, which was the first rap video on MTV. And it was me and Rem. What was beautiful about that, Travis Barker rolled up on me and said, yo, most people jumped on the bandwagon with Walk This Way, but I was there when I saw Rock Box.
That was you guys
It's
in
us.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame video?
That's the second one. That's King of Rock.
Right,
with
right.
Larry Bud Melman
Yeah.
going, you guys
Yeah.
can't come in here.
Yeah.
This is you know what was powerful about that? 2009, we get inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I'm there. They call me over. The whole rich creme, the whole. You guys were pathetic. What are you talking about? In 1985, y'all did a video called "The King of Rock" with Larry Bud Melman from the David Letterman show at the front door of a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum, denying your entry. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame didn't start till '86. Now, what is people's
I
perception?
wonder
with
if
hip-hop?
Jan Wenner saw that video and he's like, we got to pull this thing off. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's real funny, right? Those guys were like, yo, y'all prophetic. And I remember in '86, when we would fly out of JFK, Prince would always be coming in. So for like 30 times, we would see Prince coming, because we going, or we going and he coming. Hey, guys, what's up? And all of his magnificent, just like, he's a game changer, right? So on the 31st time, me running J walking, Walk This Way's killing, Adidas killing. Prince walks by, hey guys, usually, what up, Prince? Like it was so normal.
Right.
Like I knew Prince.
Right.
So we seen him, but this 31 time, what's up, y'all? And as we would imagine in the movie, us three walk past, and Prince walking, and without looking at us, he just says, you guys gonna be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he keeps walking. So we stop. What the fuck he just said? What the fuck? So me running Jay, we stop. What the fuck? What is it? Rock? What the fuck is it? So we keep walking. He knew that the Rock and Roll Fame. We didn't know.
When
Walk
did
This Way's
when did
killing.
he say that?
He said it. I guess they made an announcement, but we didn't know. We
Right,
wasn't,
right.
and we didn't care.
And he's just chilling, right?
He's just
like
chilling,
he's like here, yeah.
and they creating this thing. He spoke it.
He knew though.
that
Basically,
out of
he,
everybody
Yeah,
getting it. He said they creating this thing called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He said maybe I'll be in it, but he said you guys.
Wow.
Prince said that.
well, that's what
I'll never forget that day.
Well, when you guys make the scene because of everything about you that is so authentic, it creates a world for hip hop music.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know,
Oh, for
like
sure.
that's why hip hop music became what it is, because everybody got to be themselves finally.
And for me, I was like, I always loved rock music. I wanted to be a rock. Hip hop allowed me. I'm pretending to be the king of rock. This is make believe. Now I speak to kids. I walk the earth and I walk in a room. Jay-Z will say, "What's up, King?" Everybody, yo, what's up? King's here. And I'll say to myself, I was just playing. And then I say, was you?
Right.
Pretend means prep before it manifests.
Well,
I mean, but I'm just
manifested.
playing.
You made it
The
happen.
son of Byford. You want to know how the son of Byford rhyme came about?
Tell me.
I'm sitting here one day and I'm like, Thor is the son of Odin from Asgard. He got a brother named Loki and he got a hammer. That's Thor in the Marvel universe. I'm here in New York City. I'm Darrow. I got a father named Byford. I got a brother named son of Byford, brother of. It's my comic book. King of Rock, I say, crash through walls, come through floors, bust through ceilings, and knock down doors. I'm the king. It was all adventure, make-believe stuff that I brought in. My whole motivation was, I'll be the most powerful entity in the hip-hop universe. I'm playing. That shit came true.
I want to hear like fucked up tour stories with the Beastie Boys, because I know that was a weird period. Like I can't not ask you.
Debauchery?
Yeah. What was the debauchery like?
It was just, all right, I'm not going to say no names, but it was just motherfuckers licking ass in front of you.
Right.
Sweat, piss, titties. and don't send us to Amsterdam, because back in Amsterdam, the bulldog was a weed in the open. It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
And it was
It
like
was sex, drugs, and rock. I didn't like weed, so I didn't really. I'd smoke with Run
They did,
every
though,
now and
right?
then. They loved
Yeah.
shit. They loved it, and it was something that was kind of weird. When we go to Europe, I noticed the alcohol wasn't as strong in London in Germany as it was in America. Like, I would drink Bacardi and shit over there. I was like, this shit is not like. So when we went to London one time, and when we went back for London, when we toured with PE, DJ Scratch, and Derek B, I brought 40s by the case. We want to take these shits to how much I got to pay for them? Like, that's very,
you wanted to make sure
very
that you
alcoholic.
had your
shit.
40s, right? And I heard also in your car you had some kind of crazy 40 cooler
I had a
built
cooler,
in.
so I didn't have to stop. I was so alcoholic. I didn't want to stop and get out at the bodegas to get them. Let me just get the case and keep it on ice.
And then one thing that's unfortunate for me as a fan to read is like that you and Ron didn't always get along, and you kind of didn't get along a lot. In the glory days, was there any good times?
No, it was all good in there. Things started going wrong after the Tough Than Leather album. It wasn't that we got along. We just started growing apart. Because what had happened, and I describe it like this, it was very traumatic for me. And my therapist said, you should have said something. When Jay, he's fly. He's up on all the new stuff. Instead of us being Run DMC, not giving a fuck, we're following the platform that we created. And that's when our career. So the thing that changed the dynamic in the group is when Jay had us doing New Jack Swing music.
Right.
We did Pause, which was a good record.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad record.
No. But I hated it.
Because it wasn't what you wanted to do.
I don't hate New Jack Swing. I don't want to do it. But I did it because Jay and Run wanted to do it. It was the worst. That's when it exploded. Then, if you look at the Pause video, my rhyme is dope and this and that. Hated everything about the fucking rhyme. If you look at the video, Jay got me in a green, yellow, and purple suit doing the Running Man.
Right.
That's not fucking basement cold crush shit.
No.
But I did it. I didn't speak about it. And it was after the Back From Hell album years. With all the New Jack Swing, Jay started changing his look. If you look at the cover of What's It All About, I hated every minute of it, and I didn't speak about it. When instead of speaking up,
you drank about it.
Yeah. And that's when I was drinking 24 hours a day because I hated every minute of everything about what Run DMC was doing. I was so jealous when the Beasties did Intergalactic.
Right.
I was so jealous when Bismarck 3 dropped You.
Right.
I'm so jealous when Coogee Rap put out fucking You Use because you got the Ill Street Blue. I was so jealous when Big Daddy Kane dropped Ain't No Half Stepping.
Yeah.
I'm the Big Daddy. I was so jealous when Chuck D dropped Yes, the Rhythm, and we trying to make pop bullshit to beef, but I didn't speak about it. And
right.
That was the beginning of.
Do you think that was because, like, they got too big for Jay and Run were too big for their britches and kind of like we're such big pop stars. They were like, we need to be polished now.
Yes. And around me, I talk about this in the book. People around me said, D, you need a hit record. You need to be on the road.
I don't want to lose this.
I don't give a fuck about it. I don't want to let Run and Jay down. So
right.
Okay, whatever I got to do.
Right.
It's the worst thing you could do. My therapist said, D, you should have quit.
Right.
And they would have said, D, you going to walk away from all this money? Yep. What are you going to do? There's $5 million on the table. You know what? I'm going to go home and read my comic books. But I'm fortunate I went through what I had to go through.
Absolutely.
So now I can be an example of what not to do. I survived. I'm sick and tired of the pain and the hurt. I do this for Chester, Chris, and Kurt. Chester from Linkin Park, Chris Cornell, Kirk. I was there.
Right.
The DMC kills itself. I'm sick and tired of the pain and the hurt. I do what I'm doing now for Chester, Chris, and Kurt. Death is appealing. It's the only thing that will release me from this bullshit. So with death, I flirt. I tell the world how I feel, and they think I'm a jerk. Stigma. Oh, you weird. This and that. Just get away from me. What's going on? Oh, when I said I was depressed, people will tell you, don't be depressed. I can't tell you not to be hot if it's 100 degrees outside. I can't tell you. And I said, there's nothing wrong with somebody saying, I feel like killing myself. Sit them down and say, what is a person, place, or thing? But they don't say that. You shouldn't. You know, Run even told me when he was a reverend, D, you're fucking Byford and Banner, son. You have everything. He didn't understand what was real. So death is appealing. So with death, I flirt. I tell the world how I feel, and they think I'm a jerk. I'm not bugging. I'm struggling. All this guzzling is puzzling. So you know what I did? I stopped hanging with Jack and Jim, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, so I could fight this battle to show you can win. The greatest thing I've done, not Grammys, not the first to go gold, not the first to go platinum, this and that. The greatest thing I've ever done as the mighty king of rock, DMC, who walked this earth in his Adidas to tell people how tricky life is to stay fucking sober.
Right.
And that blows people's minds. When I got out of rehab and therapy, I went to Sierra Tucson in Arizona for 30 days. So I get out now, and Run's house. Where's D? Why you ain't on it? And I go, well, I was going to kill myself.
I want to hear more about how bad, like the bottom, like what between the fucking coolers in the car,
Right, the
and
coolers
fucking
in the car.
and rehab. Like, what was that period?
The
about?
coolers in the car came about because I'm drinking a case a day. Because Back from Hell flops. When Back from Hell dropped, they put together a tour for us. Atlanta, New Orleans, LA, empty venues. But Jay's good. Jay's good. We get to advance up front, but you're supposed to get the rest. Jay's good. Why? Because he started JMJ Records. So he ain't giving a fuck about the Run DMC thing. Concerned, but he got other shit to worry about.
He had Onyx.
Run is
happening,
married.
whatever.
He got 5 kids. And he's beginning his Reverend Run thing. Me, I put all my shit into this Run DMC thing. I wasn't mad that the records flopped. I was mad I had all of these ideas and they wouldn't allow my idea to allow us to flop. So I'm looking at Run and Jay. So it's cool for Faces and Back from Hell and all this shit that we're doing as Run DMC. And it's fly. None of this shit is working, but it's cool that I feel bad about it, but y'all don't give a fuck. But y'all don't want to take 10 of my ideas and flop because it's going to make you. That's when people, that's fucked up. And I had all that. Before Biggie did More Money, More Problems, I had this song, and I said, we got to drop this shit. Fucking motherfuckers is getting money, and they think of Run DMC. I had a song called If You Chill with a Mill, and you still got beef.
Because
More
you're
money is no problem.
yeah, because you're more
And
fucking.
I had all of these egotistical, then Run DMC can never be soft, taking your, oh, no, we don't want to do that, D. We're going to do this. Oh, and I would go, okay.
Right. And there's nothing worse than failing on
So it
someone
wasn't,
else's.
we wasn't, the dynamic, there was nothing personally going on. So I don't want people to think that me and Run was still friends. We should have did 3 albums like Cream and quit. Let me go be Clapton. Let you go be Lennon. I'll go be Bo. There's no more we could do. But when we still kept doing shit, we tried to. I'm telling you, the thing that traumatized me, and this is what was doing New Jack Swing.
That fucked you up. It's the opposite of where you guys were from.
Yes.
It's the opposite of where you
We're
guys are
supposed
from.
to be making more beat gems, and here we goes, and stuff like that.
And like, how close to suicidal would you say you actually were?
How close was I to suicide? On a scale of 1 to 10, 7. Then 10 when I found out that I was adopted.
And how did you?
Because now I ain't got nothing. I'm not even Byford and everything left me. What happened was we had the flop years. I'm driving around drinking a case a day. Jay's doing JMJ, Run's doing family, developing the Reverend shit. I'm lost. We're going through hell with Profile Records. So the only thing that
you don't know why it's not working.
No, I don't know why I don't. So the only thing that made me happy, I was going over Bismarck House every day. I was going over Big Daddy Kane house. Kane says, D, when you did this, I called my mother up, and she didn't understand what was going on. She was just so happy DMC was in the house. I would go over to Big Daddy Kane's house when he moved to Queens, and I would take all the food out his refrigerator. It's 11 in the morning. I'm drunk 24 hours a day. I come over Kane's house, take all of Kane's food out of his refrigerator and put 40s in his refrigerator.
Right.
And all day I'm in and out of his house, coming back, and I'm drinking. I'm screaming at his brother. So for me, it got to a point where there was nothing else for me to do. I didn't start. Hold up, let me start. I'm fucking DMC. I could go start my car.
You can do anything.
Yeah, the thing that, it's like I didn't know what to do except drink. I didn't know nothing else better. I'm drinking cases during the day, and I'm still going out to parties. So at nighttime, it's Hennessy, and I'm talking about I would drink till 5 a.m, sleep an hour, and one of the things my therapist said, D, you have so much willpower. Because even through all of that, I would still get up and go to the gym. And he said, just for you doing that shows you had a snip.
Everything you've done shows your incredible ability to get shit done. I mean, that's your life.
Right.
That's who you are.
But I felt lost because from high school to
then
90, all I had was Run DMC. So that's
Well,
why.
it was so much. And then you had Run DMC and you had alcoholism. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So when the Run DMC go away, the only,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
All I know was, okay, this makes me feel good.
Real quick, just because I can't not let it ask the question. What was hanging out with Bismarcky like then?
Oh, fucking amazing.
Tell us about it, please.
He would when he was passing away,
Because he was a genius.
when he was on his deathbed, a few days before he died, his wife was reaching him. We got to send a message, keep his spirits up. My message to him was, and he knew, and she said, yo, he laughed. He couldn't move. He laughed. I said, tell Biz, thank you for letting me in. I would go to Biz's house in Jersey drunk, 3 a.m, banging on his door, and he would let me in. And if he wasn't there, he would tell his DJ, let DMC in. He didn't forsake me. So I would go to Biz's house, and he was a genius.
He was.
His room was filled with records. He was breakdance, beatbox, hip hop, jazz, funk, rock and roll, Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Godzilla, NASCAR, and he was everything.
Pop culture, Cuisinart.
Yeah,
It came out as hip
I
hop.
felt at home. Around my drunkest times, before the pancreatitis set in, Bismarck, Public Enemy, and Big Daddy Kane.
Were you
I was
drinking
hanging
with
with
Flav
them.
or no?
No, I wasn't drinking with Flav. I
What
I
would-
would have my 40s around him. but I
How was
wasn't
that? What
drinking,
was
though.
hanging out with Chuck and Flav and them?
Chuck never got high day in his life.
No.
And Chuck, to this day, he says, I remember the day that you came to the studio and you said, this was probably like when they first dropped their first album, Yo Bum vs. Show.
Yeah.
He said, D, I'll never forget the day that you came to the studio and you said, when you get your mansion, you're going to have Old English coming out all the faucets. That's some drug shit.
Right.
So check out, hanging around them was strictly business and music. And that was good because I would just sit there drunk with my 40 saying, if we was fucking making this right now and we're doing the fucking New Jack Swing.
Right.
So it was like, it was hurtful. I would go to Kane's house to see what he was working. They were doing everything that I wanted to do and could crush them. I don't need as much lyrical prowess as Kane. Just give me that beat and watch what Nas said. Nas, Bumpy Knuckles, Coogee Rap said, D, you said the unbelieving receiving prophecy so true, I'll cut the head off the devil and I'll throw it at you.
Right.
They was like, yo, fuck my part. That shit right
that's
there.
it, right.
That's what we should have been doing.
Well, and then the other thing we haven't talked about is what happened to your fucking vocal cords.
Yes. So,
Because that's like
Back
a
from
huge, that's a
hell.
huge piece of the story.
yep. Back from hell, case of 40s. I'm just high 24. I'm drunk 24 hours a day. In 91, I wake up with a pain. I get diagnosed with acute pancreatitis. Go to the hospital. I get admitted. I'm in the hospital for a month and a half, everything intravenously. I get discharged from the hospital. The doctor looks at me and says, son, you have two choices in life. You could drink and die or not drink and live. So it was easy for me because anybody out there listening, I know you know the Little Rascals. There was this one episode of Little Rascals where the kid got kicked out of class and the teacher told him, learn the poem. And he goes by the lake and he's sitting by the tree and he didn't want to do it. And the whole, what's crazy about this Little Rascal episode, there was this funny sounding kid that would go, learn that poem, learn that poem. So when I got out of the hospital with acute pancreatitis, we still touring. Drink, you die. Drink so it was easy. So fast forward, from 91 to 93, I'm good. I'm not drinking. Shit is different now. The dynamic. We would do a show. Jay would go out. We show up to do the shows. It was one of those where the group, we ain't even communicating because we had our own lives. But I can't drink, so I don't even know what the hell I was doing. Oh, I got married. So.
But you couldn't chill with these guys because they were drinking, they were partying, whatever.
I can't do that and stuff like that. So what did I do? That's where I really got into music. I really started learning, there's other stuff the Beatles have that's not the singles. I really got into them because all I had was music. But in 1993, Pete Rock sailed smooth.
Sure.
They blowing right now. So we do this album called Down with the King.
Sure.
We 8 records in. Pete Rock comes in for the 9th record, produces the title song, and we do the video. Puts us back on the road, back on the chart.
It was a great song and video.
It was the best thing. Down with the King. Yeah. And Pete Rock comes to me and said, D, I don't want no Eminem shit. I don't want no Jay-Z shit. I don't want no EPM. I want that DMC shit. And he just asked me, what do you do? I'm taking the tours. I'm wrecking the land. I'm going to give you the typical DMC shit. And if you hear my verse, they said that's verse of the year. Only G.O.D. could be a king to me. And if the G.O.D. be in me, then a king I'll be. This microphone is branded when it's handed to me. I was planning all my angst from these whole years.
It was finally coming back. It all came back.
We should have just made 10 of those type of albums. We'd have been...
Right.
But long story short, Down with the King comes out. Puts us back on MTV, back on the road. We're opening for Naughty by Nature. We're opening for Limp Bizkit. We're opening for Dr. Dre and Snoop on the Crime. We back. The OGs is back, and everybody wants to celebrate us. Right when the video comes out, the next day I wake up and want to kill myself. I had no idea why. It was just, I sat, what the fuck I feel like this? I'm back on the road. This in the 90s, when Down with the King came out, we getting the 90s payday. In the 80s, we was getting the 80s payday.
But that
now we're getting
crazy,
the same payday that everybody's getting. So long story short, I just wake up and I sit and I go, okay, let me see what the fuck is going on. I'm Darryl McDaniels from Hollis, Queens, New York. Byford and Banner's my mother and father. Alfred's my brother. Run and Jay and my friends. This thing called Hip Hop comes over the bridge. Me and Run make the single hit, make another single hit, make the 5. Went through my whole thing all the way up to this point. I'm back right now. We getting 200 grand, 300,000 a show now. What the fuck is wrong? I don't know. Depression sets in because of this void.
What do you think it was?
I think what it was Darryl McDaniels from Hollis, Queens, New York. Run, Jay, walk this. There's something else to your identity. And boy, did it let it know. So when that happened, to answer your question, because of what's going on internally, my voice just leaves.
It's a psychosomatic reaction to your feeling.
Just leaves. So now,
wow.
And I'll never forget the day we played Nassau Community College in Long Island. Right. I remember it was a blizzard that day. It snowed, but we still going to do the show because we got to go get the money. And I remember that day we was doing Together Forever. Party people, your dreams have now been fulfilled. Get out your seat and let's get ill. That's right, y'all. We're not just rough. We're more than tough. And when it comes to rhymes, and when I got to my rhyme, I chill. With skill I kill. And none of my rhymes are run of the mill. I cause grief and my voice went out. It wasn't that noticeable, and Joe just said, yo, D, you were starting to lose your voice. Yeah, thanks for helping me. Because when we on stage, Joe would lose we compensate each other.
Right.
Right after that day, every show after that, the voice just went, then it just got down to where I couldn't speak at all. So then we had to go to Switzerland and do the Montrose Jazz Festival.
And there's a movie of that, right?
It's a film on that. And I go, I can't go. Motherfucker, you going. We going to get this money. Jay will overdub you and this and like that. So my voice goes. So then it gets to the point where I'm realizing something really going on, right?
How scary is that period?
So I'm losing my voice. I'm depressed. I don't have my voice. I'm thinking without the voice, there's no reason to be alive. So that's when the suicidal thoughts first come in. So imagine I'm doing Montrose, this and that, every night getting up on stage and can't do it, but you're there doing it, and people are looking at you like something wrong. And all I'm saying is because I got a kid now, gotta get the money. God, imagine how bad I felt.
Terrible.
And I can't drink. I can't drink.
And
'cause I
you're
got
not,
brand
and
new
you're not in
calories.
a recovery program. You're not like in. 12
No, I
separate-
just cold turkey. It was
Right.
good. I'm maintaining it. Then it just got to the point I couldn't take it to where we're going through this 93 to 95. I don't want to live no more. And then it got to the point where if I can't, and this is what I started thinking, if I can't rhyme, what's my purpose? I didn't know I had a bigger purpose than me. So now I'm thinking about killing myself. We go to Yugoslavia, and I just in the book, and I go up, and I saw they didn't lock the door. And then I go up on the thing, and I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to kill myself. They're going to wake up tomorrow and CNN DMC kills itself. But then my voice goes, Daryl, you can't jump yet. Why? They don't know who you are yet. What do you mean? They know this DMC shit, but before you die, you got to tell them who Daryl is. All right, so that's when I came up with the idea to write the book. So before I die, I got to let the world know, yo, what's up, world? I'm Daryl McDaniels from the groundbreaking rap group Run DMC. You know me, first to go gold, first to go platinum, first on the cover Rolling Stone, first with the sneaker deals, first with the bit. Everything that hip-hop is doing, they say it's because of me running Jay. But I'm really just Daryl McDaniels, no different from any kid on the face of the earth who was born May 31st, 1964, and I know my birthday, but I don't know no details about it. So just to make it more interesting for the reader, let me call my mom's up. I ain't going to call and say, Mom, I'm about to kill myself, because she would have lost it. Hey, Mom, I'm writing this book. I just need to know 3 things about the day I was born. How much did I weigh? It was 11 pounds, 10 ounces. You was a big baby. What time I was born? 11:30 a.m. in the morning. What hospital? You was Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn. All right, Mom, thank you. I love you. Boom, hang up the phone. Hour goes by. Phone rings. It's my mother and my father. We have something else to tell you.
Oh boy.
Okay, now I'm thinking when you was
Details.
born,
Right.
there was a power outage and we gave birth to you by candlelight. No, they said, we have something else to tell you. Okay, what is it? You was a month old when we brought you home and you're adopted. We love you. Bye. Click.
They dropped it like that? They're crazy. Why would they tell you like that?
Because they kept it a secret all this time. He's about to do this book. I think my father was very reasonable. I think we need to call him back and tell him before, so he can really know who he is.
Wow.
Because they didn't tell me earlier.
They hadn't
as a
gone through any
kid.
sensitivity training.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. So we love you. Bye. Hang up. So I'm educated. I know what that means. I don't have a voice. I'm doing New Jack Swing. I'm fucked with this void in me. I'm depressed. That was confirmation. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
That's the perfect storm. It's a miracle you didn't pick up heroin.
That's a miracle. So what do? I start drinking again. When they hit me with that, I remember I got off the phone. I called my wife's funny. I called and I said, they just told me that it was adopted. She goes, I didn't want to say nothing, but I knew that because you ain't look like nobody in that fucking. So I didn't know what to do. The only thing I knew, self-medicate.
Right.
So I started
Even though
drinking
you
again.
hadn't drunk for how long?
For since 91.
Right.
So this is 96.
So 5 years abstinent.
Yeah.
And then you hear this news and you're fucking like, I need a fucking drink.
Well, not 4 years. 4 years. It was 90,
Still.
95, right? So then I'm drinking and then I try to ration. My wife says, Daryl, what the fuck? Are you trying to kill yourself? Now I found my way. I don't have to shoot myself. I don't have to drink the floor.
You don't have to jump off the roof.
Let me just drink to this pain.
The pancreas.
Right. So my wife goes, Daryl, you ain't supposed. I'm not just telling you because you can't drink. You got fucking pancreatitis. You could die. And I go, hiccup. I'm celebrating the new found part of my identity. And I never forget my wife. Just going to be in my I'm doing a film about this. She says, motherfucker, you're drinking because you can't emotionally handle the fact that your parents just told you were adopted. So I'm drinking from 96. I find out that I'm adopted and I'm drinking. Then what happens after that? My father dies.
Right then, right? Like the next week.
No, Jay dies.
Oh my,
first.
right.
I find out that I'm adopted. Jay dies, and my father.
Jay's
said,
murdered.
Who would kill Jay? It was such, and then my father dies. So now, and I'm drinking.
And you're drinking. You're drinking through when Jay died.
I'm drinking through all of that.
So Jay's murdered, and you didn't even believe it when you heard it.
I didn't believe it was murder. Somebody got shot in Jay's studio. I believe that, but not Jay. Right. So imagine how I knew it was true because me and my wife got a babysitter. We rushed to Jay's studio, and when I pull up, Ed Lover and Chuck D, Public Enemy, bawling like little kids. That's when I knew it was real. It's the first thing, you know what I'm saying? That. Ed Lover, Chuck D, crying like little kids. That's when I knew it was Jay. So right then,
And you were drinking.
Drinking my ass off, like drinking.
Would you say that was the heaviest drinking you were ever doing in that period?
Yeah, hell yeah. I was drinking 24 hours a day. I was walking around in the morning with fifths of Remy Martin and Hennessy,
Right.
Vuvu, Clay, Champagne. I would go to the gym, and then I would start drinking at 10 a.m. all the way to like 5 a.m. the next day. During that whole period. Eric and Tracy Miller, Eric, my manager, my friend, best friend, Tracy Miller, keep them busy, keep them working. So what had happened was Eric gets tickets to go to, it's in the book, the Clive Davis party thing. Well, prior to that, I'm drinking. I'm coming home from Europe, and I hear Sarah McLachlan's song, and that song gives me some hope. But then I go to Lenny Kravitz's doctor. I go to Mariah Carey's doctor, one of the doctors here in New York, and they look at me and they say this to me. Because now, we're still doing the shows. I'm trying to overcompensate, and I'm still doing the shows, and, I'm straining my vote. And the doctor said to me, you're a little red because you're overcompensating. But he looked at me, I'll never forget. There's nothing physically wrong with you.
Wow.
I'll never forget when he talked. So then Jay dies and all of that stuff. The thing that led me to going to get sober was Eric and Tracy keep them busy. So Eric takes me to L.A. to get cast for a movie. You ain't got to really say nothing. You ain't got to rap. Just be in the movie. So I'm sitting there meeting with the agent, and I'm not even in the room. I'm depressed. My throat is going, fucking drinking. Jay's dead. My life is over. This motherfucker got me in L.A. I don't want to do no fucking movie. So Eric finishes with the agent. The agent turns to me and says, DMC, we see Run everywhere, and Russell and Kimura. What's up with you? And then something in me just said, motherfucker, you want to know what's up with me? Well, I just found out that I was adopted at age 35, this and that, and I just let him have it. And he just looked at me, and this was beautiful. He was like, I can't possibly understand how you're feeling, but there's somebody I think you should meet that might help. And he introduced me to Sheila Jaffe, another adoptee. So, and that's the beautiful thing. He didn't know what to say, but at least he did something. He was like, maybe she could
connected
help
you to somebody who had some experience.
Yep, exactly. And that led to me get sober. I meet Sheila. I tell her how I found out I got adopted. She tells me how she found out she was adopted when she was 14 years. She was 14 years old in the Bronx, and there was a rite of passage for the neighborhood bully girl to beat you up. So before Sheila's turn came, the neighborhood bully girl really wanted to hurt her. She said, Sheila, before I whip your ass, I just want you to know your parents don't know love. Your parents don't love you, and you're adopted. And Sheila was like, what? So Sheila didn't stay for the answer. She ran home, and her mother was like, yeah. So long story short, Sheila goes, oh, Daryl, once a month, Mark Wahlberg gives us his offices in Santa Monica, and we go have Adoption Anonymous meetings. I'm like, what's that? She said, adoptees from all walks of life all over there, and we go in a room and just talk once a month. Set changed. I'm standing there with the adopted person from Australia, the adopted person from the Korean and the Vietnam Wars that will never find it back.
Right.
But it was beautiful. It was crying, laughing, and at the end of the day, see you next month. You just go in there and talk. So that was my first taste of a therapy, but I didn't think about it. By the 7th meeting, they go, Daryl, don't you want to know who your birth parents are? Nope. Don't put me, I'm trying to heal right now. This is good for me. I don't need no more mental or emotional stress. You heard the record, Son of Byford, Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens. That's so what happened was
We didn't even talk about Christmas in Hollis.
Yeah.
God damn. Anyway, keep going.
What happened was this. A famous adoptee that wasn't celebrity famous, and this is what caused me to go to rehab. She said, the reason why an adoptee should, you don't have to. It's your story, it's your life. You could let it be whatever. But I'm OCD and I'm Tony Starks and all of that and very investigative. She said, the reason why an adoptee should search for their birth parents is, and this blew me away. I was like, shit, you never start a book from chapter 2. I was living my life from chapter 2.
Right.
And I went back to the Down with the King moment. I'm Daryl McDaniels, Hollis, Queens, New York. First to go, first hit. Now Pete Rock got me back. Pete Rock, let me just shout him out. He hates when I say it, but it's true. You have a lot in common with the people that you're around. People say Walk This Way saved Aerosmith's career. We did their record over. Pete Rock produced Down with the King. Him and CL Smooth recreated the first record we ever made, Down with the King, and did it with us. Same thing. So I thought back to that day. You never start a book from chapter 2. I realized Daryl McDaniels, Hollis, Queens, New York, there was a whole chapter 1
that you didn't know.
So that's what made me. And I said, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to know. But then I'm you know what? I want to know. So I knew in order for me to go down this road, and this is the beginning of me saving my life, I need to be of sound mind and body. So let me go to rehab. Eric been telling me, Eric Tracy, Leo Cohen, and Kathy Simeonitis, Leo's assistant. She went to Leo and said, motherfucker, Daryl's finally going to rehab. Pay for him to go to rehab. We're going to save his ass. So I went to rehab to get clean and sober because they cared about me. But the catalyst was, if I'm going to go see this shit, I need to be a sound mind. So I go into rehab March 1st to March 30th. So in February 1st, I said, I'm not going to drink all the way up to March 1st and then go.
You did the opposite of what everybody does.
I stopped drinking February 1st.
Right.
For that whole month. I just did it because I'm thinking, I got to find my birth mother, which was a good distraction for me. So when I get to Sierra Tucson, I go in the intake room. There's a guy with a straitjacket on out over there. And there's another guy with a straitjacket over there. So it's like 1, 2, 3 beds. And I'm in the middle bed. So the guy comes in and looks at both of them. He said, I guess I'll start with you. And he goes, when was the last time you had a drink? And I was like, a month ago. And he said, you did. I tell him, I knew I was coming here.
But that's that classic DMC preparation.
Yeah. So then he says, you don't need to be in his room. He sent me to the next room to where they had all the characteristics of an addictive personality on the board.
Right.
I'm that. I do that too. And then the lady that was in the room and the therapist guy, they start clapping. I'm like, what are you clapping for? You're on your way to being here because now you're being honest.
Right.
But I wasn't being honest. So they send me, they give me all these, you got 9 assignments to finish by the time you get released. First of all, I'm funny. I finished mine in a week because it was like homework to me. I learned about dopamine. I learned about the guy that experimented with LSD. And they say we get high because it's our conscious search for God.
Right.
So a whole lot of stuff in there.
Did you ever do LSD?
Yes, I did. They called it bladder.
Yeah. Acid bladder. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you do that?
The night that we went to see Madonna at Roseland.
Shut the fuck up. Who tripped that night?
Me and Cool T. I wasn't with Jay Orman. Me and Cool T. We was hanging out with some girls from the Bronx. And we didn't go to sleep the next day till like 1:30. Yo, I did the acid trip before.
All right.
But it wasn't like I saw colors. It was just like I was just up. I smoked a lot of dust in my career. Hated doing dust, but always did it.
Give me the worst dust story really quickly.
The worst angel dust story. Well, it really wasn't no worst angel dust story. It just the dust made me feel heavy and nauseous, but I couldn't throw up.
Okay. You ever trip ecstasy?
Never did the ecstasy.
All right. Well, we can.
A mescaline.
You did mescaline.
But I think we diluted it because we put the mescaline tabs in the Old English.
Wow.
And drank it.
Okay.
But the Old English was so powerful.
Okay, back to rehab. I'm sorry, I went
So back to rehab. So now I go in there and they give me my assignments and all of that. I finish them in a week. So the next day I have my first sit down with the therapist. And I'm sitting there and the first thing he asked me was, he comes and he got the white cloak on and the clipboard and the glasses. I'm 35. He's like 48 maybe. White guy. And he says, Daryl, during your career with Run DMC, did anybody ever do anything to make you angry? And I'm sitting there going, no. He looks at me through the glasses, puts the clipboard down and a pen, takes his glasses off, starts unbuttoning. He stands up and starts unbuttoning his white smock thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is he going? Is he going to beat my ass or something? And he takes it off. He got some AC/DC shirt on.
Right.
And then he sits down and he looks at me and he says this to me. You're a goddamn motherfucking liar. And when he says that, yeah, man, in 1983 when Ron did this and that, and then Russell did that. And then I went through from 83 all the way up to today. And I was diagnosed with suppressed emotions.
Right.
And he said, you was drinking. He said, you have to tell your truth. If you hurt somebody's feelings, they'll get over it. And then he said, also, you got to be ready to get it back at you.
Right.
But he said, from now on, for you to stay sober, tell how you feel the moment you feel it.
Right.
Eric hates me now.
I don't think so. I think he loves
Well,
it.
he likes it, but everybody sort of changed. Nope, I'm not going. Why? Because I don't want to. The therapist said selfishness is necessary for not to where, oh, I'm going to go do this and you can't do it with me. I ain't splitting the money. Not that, oh, you can't have none. He mean, look and see how it's going to affect you. And if it
Take care of
doesn't,
yourself.
first. And then he said this goes for wife and kids too.
Because if it's like that thing on the plane.
They won't have me.
If you can't be breathing, you can't be saving them.
Yep.
I
got to be completely all right. You're going to get mad at me?
Right.
But as long as I'm all right, I will get you to where you need to go.
Right. So,
but if I do it and it's detrimental to my well-being,
it's going to be bad for them anyway.
It's going to be bad for them. And like some people don't know how to say, kids, I love you so much, but I need to go away for 8 months. A lot of people won't go away. Even to this day, when I tell people this story, they do this. They look around to make sure nobody's listening. And they only telling DMC because I'm the mighty king of rock DMC. But I go, yo, I was in rehab. I was going to kill myself. And I went to rehab and I'm in therapy now. Make sure no bugs around. D. And they say these words to me. I've never told anybody this. Me too.
Right.
And if that don't, this is the one that kills me though. I've never told anybody this, but my wife, my sister, so people won't talk about their daughter who's at home fucking struggling on mess because this man is going into work at his office every day, worried about how the people will think about him.
Right. So you found that you could finally, when you could come clean, all of a sudden you could help all these people.
Yes, I saw. You know what? If DMC could, I wore Adidas because of you. But what bugs them out is we thought you was invincible. And I go, I am. Me saying I'm vulnerable
Is the strongest thing of all.
And needing help is the strong. And then I got to tell people all the superheroes are fucked up.
They all have their
Batman got problems.
All of them.
I remember there was an issue. Stan Lee was brilliant. There was an issue with Tony Stark on the cover with the demons around him looking at a glass of liquor. And Tony Stark's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So everything that I was in my superheroes is me.
Right. No, 100%.
But when I tell people that, and so many people say, yo, D, man, I've been struggling for years after I read your book. Your book did for me for 10 years of therapy couldn't do. Because when you read the book, it blows you away that this is D. But everybody go, D, everything you talked about, they see themselves.
It's incredible. It's also just an incredible gift that, like, you've given the world. I mean, I'm going to sound a little schmaltzy here, but you've given the world so much. Like I read you talking about Sarah McLachlan and what that song did for you.
I never knew. People told me that my music did that for them.
But that's
D,
what
I
I'm
had the
saying.
suckiest parents, and I would go in my room and listen to my Raising Hell tape. That never happened to me until Sarah Record did it for me.
I'm telling you, you did it for the world. Like you, and I feel like when I read the book, you didn't really know that. Like I don't need to be the person that tells you, but you look out the window and your music touched everything out there, and it changed the world. And you gave us so much. Like you gave us so much.
Well, one of the things that I know is this.
New Jack Swing notwithstanding, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
One of the things that I know that gives me confidence with the same vigor and happiness that I told the world when stuff was good, I realize I'm even more powerful when I tell them it's bad.
I love that.
You
It
know,
connects
it's
us.
Christmas time, how this and that, but when I say, yo, it was fucked up and it was hard, it still gets the same result.
You have a lot of fucking music that really is incredible. Your story is incredible. You were too generous to give us this much time. I cannot thank you enough. But we got to play the game before you go. Let's go play the game
I'm
really
definitely
quick.
going to play the game. Okay.
Real quick. It's not a great game. We got to get that piece of paper from the kitchen.
All right, no problem.
Hold on. We'll talk and walk. This is the first time we've ever talked and walked on Dopey.
This is crazy. All right.
And
Definitely
Eric,
gotta
the
play
manager,
game.
is definitely dying
Yep.
to go. Ray,
All right, Eric,
that's
we're
Ray.
almost done.
That's
Hey,
Ray.
Ray.
That's
What's
Ray
going
Brown.
on? We got to play the game and then we're
We're
done.
going to play the game and then we're done. The game is just strictly this or that. All right?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You can get with this or you can get with that.
You see, he's
you
suing.
can get with this
He's suing Drez.
for $500 million.
Yeah. You friendly with Drez?
So love it, yes.
You think he's going to win it?
something's going to happen?
He's going to get something out of it.
Oh, for sure. They're going to be like, come to the room and we'll give you $20 million under the table.
All right, you ready? I'm
Yeah.
going to say two things. You're going to pick the one you like more. It's
Okay.
going to be controversial.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start with something easy. Siddhartha Gautama or Jesus Christ?
That's Buddha.
Yes.
Siddhartha Gautama, who went and left the palace
Yes.
to say, saw a sick man, crippled
Yes.
man, this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Siddhartha
Or
or
Jesus.
Jesus. I got to pick one.
Yeah, that's the game.
Siddhartha.
Hennessy or Old English?
Old English, of course.
KRS-One or Rakim?
KRS One.
Todd McFarlane or Frank Miller?
Todd is my man.
Harry Chapin or Jim Croce?
Harry Chapin.
Nas or Jay-Z?
Nas.
Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Tupac.
Now we're getting
Because
somewhere.
of Dear Mama and Brenda had a baby. That's why.
Okay. Ad Rock or Mike D? That's a fucked up question, right?
Damn. Kick it. Ad Rock.
Me too. LL Cool J or Curtis Blow?
Damn, why are you doing this to
It's
me?
a good time. It was a good time. It was a good game.
LL. For sure.
The Submariner or Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom. I hated Submariner's trunks and being naked with his body
I
out.
can relate to that.
He's been powerful, though.
Yeah, with the wings
But
on
that
his feet.
kill,
Yeah.
yeah. But the suit, man, come on. I loved him when he put on the blue full suit.
Okay.
Do you remember when he had a blue?
Yeah, the blue.
But
It's regal.
Dr. Doom, man, for sure.
And you on the MF Doom track is sick, by the way.
Oh, thank you, thank
Very
you.
Great.
I was honored when he called me for that.
Yeah, it was good. Really good.
Thank you.
Okay, Rick Rubin or Russell Simmons?
Rick Rubin.
Wow. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Busta Rhymes or Method Man?
Meth.
I figured you'd
Meth-
say that because
Meth
they
Man.
also did. They redid Tucker
They
MC.
just say, but Meth because he loves comic books like me.
All right,
And Buster probably do, but me and Meth talked about him.
Galactus or the Beyonder?
The Beyonder.
Because it's more infinite.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
infinite
Of
power.
course. Yep. For
All right.
sure.
Here's the fucked up one.
What do we find at the end of Infinity, though?
It was nothing. What was there? It was like a
Nothing,
rift. There
yeah.
was like it was white, and there was like the
Yeah.
glowy thing.
So just find another beginning.
What was I going to say?
Yeah.
Right. The end of the end is the beginning. Sarah McLachlan or Run DMC?
Sarah McLachlan.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, man, because, yo, I'm in the arms of an angel, fly away in the dark, cold hotel room.
Here's the.
That was me when she said those words. It was like, what?
Listen, that's the game. You'll never perform with Run again? Never?
The final show ever.
Yes. I know. Was it
It's
the Barclay?
coming-
Oh, it's you're for the 50th? You're doing it?
No. Right now, we're shooting a 4-part Run DMC documentary with
Nice.
Peacock. The full story.
Nice.
At the end of that, Run D is we're going to do, you know what the last waltz is?
Yes, I know what the last. Do I know what the
We're
last
doing
one
a last waltz at Madison Square Garden in April or May. Eric will let you know.
I need to go.
You can be my guest.
I can be your guest.
You can be
This
my
is the
guest.
greatest day ever.
And it's the last show. And here's why. I won't be able to be Paul McCartney in Wings. I won't be able to be Foo Fighters. Nobody's mad at David Grohl for not doing Nirvana no more. Nobody's I have so much
It's
more.
different, though. It's
It
different.
is, right. But I don't want to be running around. I put it like this. Me personally, I've done all I could do for Run DMC. Let's not fuck it up.
Listen, I'm excited there's going to be another show.
If Jay comes back, though,
I understand.
I'll tour and I'll make albums.
Listen.
If Jay comes back.
I don't think I can thank you enough for your time.
you.
Ridiculously generous. Was this the
Now,
greatest?
I got one for you before
Yeah,
you go,
okay,
because
yeah.
I did it the other day and everybody. Waffles or pancakes?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go waffles.
Okay, I went waffles too.
Because the pancake's never as good as it's supposed to be.
At all, right,
It's
exactly.
even as good as it can
Waffles
be. Yeah,
is like,
yeah. Waffles are
yeah.
they crunch
I
with
went
the
waffles
syrup and the
too.
butter. Yeah.
And all the students went crazy.
Where were you at?
I was speaking at a conference for high school kids up at Woodstock.
Nice.
They bring all the kids up there and they do this conference of education, creativity. What do you want to be when you grow up? So I was the keynote speaker.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
Daryl, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I love being dopey.
All right, there you go. Everything you ever wanted to know about DMC, but maybe you were afraid to ask. This year is actually the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So you're going to be seeing Daryl and Run and lots of your favorite hip hop people all over the place. But I cannot say enough times what an honor it was to have DMC at my dad's, to have him tell his recovery story on Dopey. It meant so much to me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys want to be in the show, send in a voicemail. Send in an email to dopeypodcast@gmail.com. If I read or play your story, you get free Dopey socks. DMC got free Dopey socks. Wouldn't you guys want free Dopey socks? I'm going to read a story I just got. It's from this person. I think it's a woman, and I think her name is Brianne. And she says, "Hi, Dave. Me again. This is a Dopey story that takes place in the summer of 2000 in Koreatown in Los Angeles. My boyfriend and I had a shitty studio apartment on Normandy and Wilshire. I was 20 and entering my senior year of college. We moved to LA to be closer to our drug of choice, black tar heroin. Shout out to Olympic and Beacon in Bonnie Bray area. I was working at the souvenir store at Hard Rock by Universal Studios. My boyfriend could not keep a job in my recollection. One night, late after work, I got home. I arrived at our apartment and my boyfriend had a friend over. We had used with this friend before, so we were all ready to start the night with a fresh score of shit that was hitting so fucking hard. We would shoot it up, but not all the time. We warned the friend it was strong, but he loaded up his syringe to slam anyway. Next thing you know, he's ODing on our inflatable couch. Luckily, dope addicts tend to be thin because we picked him up and took him in the shower and put cold water on him. He was coming to. So we called 911 on a cell phone and did not give our apartment number. Then my boyfriend told me to get sugar, and we shoveled sugar in his mouth. I didn't know what the fuck to do. He wasn't coming to, but then I guess the cold water and sugar worked. He stopped looking blue and started yelling at us. What the fuck? We told him he just OD'd. He chilled for maybe another 5 minutes, continually asking what happened. Then he starts loading up another rig. We were telling him, no, dude, you just died on us. We had called 911 so we can hear them 5 stories down trying to get into the building and trying to figure out who called. We were definitely hiding from the police, the ambulance, whatever was out there. We made him smoke his heroin the rest of the night, and we kept going back for that bomb hookup for the next few days." It's interesting that she ended the story there. I need a conclusion. I'm dying for resolution of that story. So Brianne, tell us how you are now. What happened to your boyfriend and what happened to this guy? I need a resolution. And, you know, if you OD and you get showered on, it happened to me once. I think I overdosed like twice. First time I overdosed, a woman dragged me into the shower, and I came to. And that's the best way to be able to come to. If you need Narcan, though, I have Narcan. I actually have Narcan, and I have fentanyl testing strips. So hit me up, and I will be happy to send them out, courtesy of Austin. Thank you, Austin. I think that's the show this week. There was another story about some kid in Virginia who he OD'd in the bathroom in his school, and the school didn't realize it was an OD. And I think now he's in critical care, so let's hope this kid is okay. From Arlington, Virginia. I hope you guys are doing okay. Get Narcan, get fent test kits, that we have both of those. Write in an email, write in a voicemail. try to have some fun if you can, right? I mean, the whole point of recovery is to try to enjoy your life. So give it a shot. My dad is currently sailing from the end of the earth in Argentina to Antarctica. Hopefully we'll get a report from him next week. Everyone else, stay strong, Dopey Nation, and fucking toodles for Chris.
Alright, I'm gonna play this song, but only because I think it'll make me up a little bit. Yeah, it's fair. I'm just gonna start an outro.
Wanna take a walk around the world. I wonder would it do me any good? But until I get some money in my pocket, I guess I'll walk around my neighborhood. I wanna be good so bad. I wanna be so good, so bad, so bad. I wanna be good so bad. Bad desire's all I've ever had. I wanna take a ride up in the sky. Wasn't there a plane that just passed me by? I wanna see a Learjet liner take a dive. Show all of you people what it means to be alive. I wanna be good so bad. I wanna be so good, so bad, so bad. Wanna be good so bad. Bad desire's all I've ever had. I can see my shadow getting smaller. It's hiding where I stand. I can feel my shadow getting smaller. It's hiding where I stand. I wonder would they pay me any mind when I leave the busted city far behind. I'll take the high road, however far it winds. Peace and love, very hard to find. I wanna be good so bad. I wanna be so good, so bad, so bad. I wanna be good so bad. Bad desire's all I've ever had. I wanna be good so bad. I wanna be so good, so bad, so bad. I wanna be good so bad. Bad desire's all I've ever had. I can see my shadow getting smaller. It's hiding where I stand. I can feel my shadow getting smaller. It's hiding where I stand. I can see
It's a fucking great song.
You like this?
I really, really like it.
You do?
And you know I like.
Yeah, you do tell me you didn't like it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can relate to the calling your dad for it.
Dude, it's just really good. Like, where did you write? When did you write that? I like the lyrics. I hope they